I cut off my own intro. Anyways, it's all good. We're we're live, I guess. I cut it off. People. Not used to using Discord. Anyways, welcome everybody. Yeah, that was the intro. I think we are live. Let me check the stream. Yes, we are live. You guys just saw me cut off my intro. You're seeing it now. Anyways, with me tonight is not Hargeet. Hargeet usually does Boomsticks podcast on Wednesdays, so I wasn't going to pull him from that. He's been doing that before we started doing our thing, so I didn't feel right about doing that. Anyways, but I got a couple of great guests tonight, and I might even have one more jumping in a little bit. But of course, tonight, as you see on the panel, I have my old buddy from RDX, D-Batch. D-Batch, welcome to the show, buddy. How have you been?
I've been good, man. We finally got that info dump. Truth be told, I got more questions than answers, but at least we got some answers. So it was very interesting. And just as a gamer in general, doesn't matter what side you're on, it's always awesome to hear about new hardware, So, I think it's a buzz for all content creators because we have something to talk about and something to look forward to. And I think the viewers today are going to be really excited to, discuss what was talked about today. So it should be a good show.
For sure, man. And of course, you see there on the name, Jake. Jake is with us. He doesn't really create that much content anymore. Although you did make a couple of videos showcasing the differences, like with the PS5 Pro and PSSR versus like AMD and stuff. How have you been, Jake? How have you been?
Digital Foundry at home, you might call it. If they're
Foundry.
They're so busy. If they're too busy to make something, I'll just do it myself, but just not anywhere near as good.
They were pretty good videos, though. Really well done, though, for getting that stuff done at home. Anyways, guys, we have a lot to talk about, a lot to unpack. Basically, let's start off a little light here. Let's start off. So I'm currently playing Resident Evil Requiem, okay? I'm a little late to the party.
I saw you got on last night. I was playing.
I started this game the night before last because, I had some close friends tell me, look, if you like the original games, get this. Because I do. I like the original games. Like, I'm not too fond of the first-person Resident Evils, like The Village and stuff. I couldn't get into them. I don't know why. It just didn't feel like Resident Evil to me. So I watched a little bit of gameplay here and there, and I go, man, this does kind of remind me of the old Resident Evil games. So I bought it, downloaded it. Of course, I didn't pay full price, by the way. Never do. Anyways, bought it, downloaded it, and man, what a game. It definitely reminds me of the old Resident Evils. It's got all the jump scares. It's got the freaking they got the third person mode you can do. It's really cool. But I will say this, crazy enough for me, it was kind of strange because I saw at the beginning of the game, they said, it's more dynamic if you play third person with Leon and first person with Grace because she, she gets more scared and gets all the jump scares and stuff, or most of them anyway. So I did that. I played with her in third for a little bit, and then I jumped into first with her, and I dig it. I like the first person with her.
Same.
And then Leon kicks fucking ass. Excuse my language, but man, what a freaking game. I'm having a blast with it right now. Got a little lost in the mansion.
The East and West Wing shit.
Man, I'm a little lost in there just a little bit last night. It was really late, but I'm going to get right back into that tonight. Oh, dude, when you encounter like the chef for the first time and he's over there just cutting shit. Oh, man, I was scared. Crazy. But so Resident Evil, have you guys been playing it? Have you played it?
Yeah, I've been playing it. I saw you get on last night, man. You got on like at 1:00 in the morning because I was playing it and I saw you pop in there. I've been playing it. I'm having a blast. I don't know why I like the torture, but I seem to like to play it like after midnight with all the lights off, with the surround sound on, and I don't know. I guess I like peeing my pants. I'm not quite sure, but that game, I played a lot of games. Uh, this game, it's got to be one of the scariest games I've ever played, and I've played a lot of scary games. And this game, personally, for me, brings me back to my childhood when I was.
Yeah.
I get the same like, oh my gosh, that I got when I was a childhood when those dogs were chasing you in the mansion. Like you're like, what the hell is this? You know.
Yep.
There's so many of those moments, and you were right with Grace. The jump scares, they're more so, and it's much better to play in the first person with her. And I know you're playing it on PC like myself, so I know you're
Oh
enjoying
my
that nice crispy
gosh,
path tracing. Oh my
dude.
gosh, and the surround sound in that. So I played it with surround sound, freaking creepy. But if you really want to get creeped out, put some headphones on with spatial audio or Dolby Atmos. Holy smokes, the footsteps that you're hearing in the distance will scare the crap out of you, man. It's
How
such a well done game.
how crazy is that performance though on this? The optimization is so good.
Amazing.
Shout out to Capcom for that, because when I saw like it was doing the configuring of my PC specs and stuff, and I have a pretty good PC. It turned on path tracing and everything, and I think it pared down a couple of little things, but it was still on high. I don't notice the difference. I went back and forth trying it, and I still get over 100 freaking frames. That's the crazy thing. I'm like playing this game, and I'm like, this is why I advocate for proprietary engines instead of using Unreal Engine 5, because their engine is just flawless. Jake, have you played it?
No, I am going to definitely play it later, but
Yeah,
I'm trying to finish Trails Beyond the Horizon right now
gotcha.
in time for Crimson Desert, assuming that doesn't fall on its face. If that falls on its face, I'll probably go right to Resident Evil, but I'm trying to finish this up because I'd already started that before Resident Evil, and then hopefully that'll be just in time for Crimson Desert, and we'll see what happens. I'm also traveling shortly after that, so
Gotcha.
I fully from what I've seen so far, I agree with you guys. I also, and you're right, Leon does kick fucking ass, but
Dude.
what I also love about him is that you look at him and if you don't know anything about the series, you think he's this like cool brooding old guy, and then he opens his mouth and it turns out he's not that cool. Like he's cool, but he's
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
he's the guy who says one-liners to himself when he's alone just because he thinks it's cool and funny.
Yeah, the one downside to this game that I have to say is I get so irritated with Grace and her every 5 seconds, man, constantly like scared, and she just has to do that noise over
I'm sure there's a
and
mod
over.
on PC that tones that stuff down.
Oh, I, I have to find it, because that
Guarantee.
part is annoying. It's like, shut up. You notice that around every corner, she's like,
Hey, yeah, I don't want to. I don't know how PG
ugh.
this show is, but if she gets really injured and you're in the red zone,
Yeah.
I'll just say this: just sit there and listen to her. And yeah, I think it's a soundtrack for.
Oh man,
That's another good.
Sight.
It's another good reason to have your headphones on, as you said.
Yeah, no, I've been there, D. I know what you're talking about. But yeah, I just don't like that part about her.
Yeah,
but,
she's all. But you know what? In all fairness, and without giving any type of spoilers away, from the onset when she's with her mother,
yeah.
you can kind of see the type of character she has, because she was wigging out there
Oh,
too,
she's
right?
not a bad character. It's just
She's an
that
audience
part of
surrogate.
her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's an audience surrogate. She's a priest. She's basically a normal person. She ain't a super soldier like Leon is.
Yeah.
But the visuals. Oh my god.
Oh my
Jake.
gosh, man.
Incredible. Best looking game this year.
RE Engine is very good for these linear games. It ain't so good for open world stuff. We've seen that already. But these linear games, it is. You can tell they fine-tuned it and built it for Resident Evil games, hence the engine name. And I think that when they went to make Dragon's Dogma and Monster Hunter Wilds, that I think they did not spend anywhere near enough time building the engine for games like that. Maybe in the future it'll be better, but
this is
I mean, to be fair,
different world, man. It's just they made those games, really? This is just incredible.
Yeah. And I haven't been into linear games as of late, the past few years. I've been really playing a lot of open world games and enjoying those. But this one, again, D, just like you, it brings me back to being younger and playing the originals, and just just being so immersed in that world. And man, just incredible gaming. Um,
I was feeling like a little, you know, ashamed that I was getting scared because there's some like getting scary
there's some scary moments. There
jump
is.
scares that really like freaked me out. And
Oh,
I
those.
saw a post from Ice T at like Ice T Games. He's a heavy gamer.
Oh, I saw that. I saw
Yeah.
that. Yeah, Ice T does.
And he was like, he got scared. I was like, oh, okay, I feel better. If you got scared, okay, all right, I feel better because I'm telling you, you play it in the dark with surround
That's what
sound
I
on,
do. Yeah.
or the headphones, as I explained. It's freaking scary. Like in the
Yeah.
opening sequence when she's just in there and she's going up, and you got to go upstairs, like, and you hear someone like creaking on the damn stairs, like, and the footsteps just sound terrifying, man.
Mm-hmm.
You guys ever played Amnesia: The Dark Descent?
No.
Okay,
No.
so you want to get the fucking shit scared out of you? Play that game at nighttime with headphones
He
on
just
and
wants us to shit our pants.
no, but like play that at
Thanks.
night with headphones on and your lights off. Like that's a PC game, like a low budget PC game from 2010, but I promise you there's a reason that game still gets talked about when it comes to horror games. Like I still think it's up there as far as just like scare factor. No jump scares. It's all like dread and terror. It's so good. The game's not that great, but the horror aspect is really good.
Yeah. Apparently the Resident Evil director, Shinji Mikami, is got a new like studio, Unbound Games or something. And apparently he's announced that they're making some sort of AAA game, but we don't know exactly what genre or anything, but he's making something. But unfortunately it's with UE5. It's with UE5, unfortunately. But anyways, they got that in the works. But yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about Resident Evil because, again, like I know I'm late to the party. I'm sure you've heard other people talk about Resident Evil, but I haven't talked about it, and I had to say something because I'm really enjoying that game. And it's a great little small linear game because it's not very long that I can play before Crimson Desert comes out. That's my next big game I'm going to be.
Which
I
game?
think Crimson Desert.
No, what you gonna play before that? You said, FOnz?
No, Resident Evil is the game I'm going to be playing
Oh,
before
okay, yeah. Crimson Desert
'cause
looks incredible. I like
It
the
looks
fact that you
good,
can just
but
go around and RKO female RPGs. That's hilarious, man.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm really like I'm very excited for it, but I'm just something in my chest is telling me like, well, you shouldn't pre-order anyways. But like, no pre-orders. Just wait for those
I'm
day
not
one user
pre-ordering.
reviews, see what people say.
Yeah.
And if it's at least decent, I'll pick it up. I think personally, like if we're talking the Digital Foundry Graphics of the Year video, assuming GTA 6 doesn't get delayed again, that's going to be on there, obviously. Resident Evil for sure, and Crimson Desert, I think, are going to be the top three, unless something new randomly comes out this year and like, breaks all norms. But you look at these games and you're just like, how do you surpass stuff like this? Like, I don't like those three. Like, how do you surpass those three games? It's just
so. The only question mark I have about Pearl Abyss's Crimson Desert is how does it feel? You know what I'm saying? Because right now I see the looks and I see the performance, and supposedly it's really good performance. And we've seen the specs come out for each platform or, consoles.
Pearl Abyss is a Korean PC developer. They're not going to fuck around when it comes to PC performance.
It looks like with a 5070 Ti, they're saying you can get 4K 60 at Ultra. So I can only imagine with a 4090, I'm going to be just fine. You know
just
what I'm
fine.
saying?
Yeah, just
fine.
If a 7900 XTX can do 4K native Ultra and hold mostly 60, that's not even a good ray tracing GPU. And this game's got ray tracing for pretty much everything except shadows. They said they've got ray trace shadows, but they didn't look very good at first, so they want to go back in and overhaul them and maybe put them in a future update, maybe like next gen consoles and like a PC update in the future. I mean, you can read the interview that Digital Foundry just did with the game's technical director, and if you can read a lot of the jargon, it's definitely it's interesting for sure. But like if a 7900 XTX can do that. Now, Ultra is not max settings. There are actual like max settings above that, but
yeah.
I mean, what you do there is you could probably pull that off, unless it's like a huge jump. You could probably pull that off on a 7900 XTX, use upscaling, like do performance mode upscaling or something.
Well, you got to understand too, like most people are playing games at 1440p anyway. Like
Yeah.
most people aren't playing at 4K that are on PC.
It's a 7900 XT. I think, yeah, you can do the ultra, but it'd be 1440 scale.
I use 4K because
No,
my
they
monitor's 4K. So
the Digital Foundry footage from when they showed off the game was 7900 XTX. It was native 4K ultra settings, and it mostly held 60. There was some small frame drops here and there, but
With ultra ray tracing?
ultra settings across the board, including ray tracing. Now that again, it's
Oh.
not the max settings. There are settings that go above that, but
Right.
Um,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
that's
like,
that,
but
that's
still,
not
that's incredible.
that's
I have an
that's
I have a
not
90
bad.
I have a 9070 XT, so FSR 4.1 performance mode will probably look even better than the native FSR
Definitely.
3.
That it's gonna look
The
it's
FSR
not
3.1 4K.
not
The
even
the thing
close.
is,
Not
Jake,
even
you could
close
say
looking.
like, yeah, there's resolution or not resolutions. There's graphical settings that go above ultra, but it is still very impressive in a land, or I should say, in a sea of freaking games that are on UE5 that aren't optimized.
Another custom engine.
So
And you know what? There were so many 2025 games that performed amazingly that were not UE5.
yeah,
I mean, I get the purpose of UE5, but like, it just keeps happening where UE5 has performance issues unless you disable nanite and lumen and all that stuff. I mean,
but
people
then
point
what's
out
the point, right?
people
Use
point out like,
UE4 then.
oh, Sonic Racing Crossworlds UE5 performed well, RoboCop performed well. I'm like, those games all disable all the features that UE5 is known for. Although I think RoboCop uses like some software lumen, but that's not the same. But like, you know, we had like Doom the Dark Ages last year. We had Death Stranding 2. We had Assassin's Creed Shadows, which, you know, was arguably the most technically impressive game last year, and also performed well on PC with no stutters for the most part. That was a custom engine. Like,
Yeah.
it's, you know, there's too many good examples, and this is looking to be another good example of a nice custom engine in an open world game with a ton of ray tracing, mind you. And at least from like what we've seen so far, there wasn't any stutters in the PC footage. So
Boba Fett in the chat said UE5 is a good all engine, though it gets too much hate. I think the hate is justified, honestly.
We haven't had any good technically demanding games yet that don't have issues. It's either image quality and frame rate on console or stuttering on PC. Like, you can name like a small exception here or there, but I don't think we're going to see like a good, stable, performant UE5 game until either Witcher 4 or whatever the Coalition's making next. You know, it's going to have to be something like that.
Because I believe E-Day is on Unreal Engine 5.
We'll see what that looks like. Because like that's pretty much going to be like, we know they're going to push graphics with that game. They always do anytime they can.
If anybody can do it, it's them, Coalition.
I mean, those are all like original Unreal Engine developers, and they help build the engine with Epic. So like, it's if they can't pull off a good performant game with Unreal Engine 5 and all the features, then nobody can. So we'll have to see what E-Day is like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm excited for Crimson Desert, but it's not without controversy. Apparently, people are like wondering why they only sent out review codes for the PC version and only sent one PS5 Pro version to Digital Foundry. And
because it's
Pearl
a
Abyss,
PC first developer.
Yeah, Pearl Abyss marketing director stated on social media, he said, "There's nothing to hide, and they're just in the final stages of polish." And he went on to say, "Let us cook." I agree with him. I'm like, just relax, people.
See those spec sheets they reviewed?
Yeah, the spec sheets
I have never
good.
seen such a good recommended spec sheet for a game series. Like, they put out like detailed spec sheets for Mac and consoles, and even showed which settings the consoles were using, like, or at least the graphic presets on PC, so that you could like go on your PC and like use those same settings and compare them. I'm really not too worried about it. Like, obviously the CPU is the question, but a lot of people that have tried the game so far said that there's actually not really much of a CPU-based performance drop in cities, which is oftentimes what happens in these open world games because there's so many NPCs. So they did something to curb that.
That's
I guess
optimization right there. That's purely optimization.
So I'm not actually worried about. I'm not worried about the console versions. I mean, we'll see what happens, but like, again,
the console specs look pretty decent. I think it's 1080p 60 FPS for the Series X. The balance mode, I believe it's 1440p, upscaled to 4K at 40 FPS, and then I think it's 1440p upscaled to 4K for 30 FPS. I think the Series S was the big loser there. Like, it doesn't even get ray tracing, and I don't even think the performance mode is pretty low res, and I think their quality is like
It's the
40
VRAM, man.
FPS. Yeah,
It's
but
the
the
RAM.
PlayStation 5 Pro, holy crap, it's getting ultra
Are,
ray tracing.
are they going
At
to use
30.
PSSR2 on that?
Yes,
I want to. I want to gloat.
it's
I want to
confirmed.
gloat.
It's
I want to
confirmed.
gloat.
Go
So
ahead. Claude.
I posted on Twitter. I'll get the exact date because I bookmarked the tweet. But so I posted on Twitter on February 12th. This was before we had any Resident Evil Requiem reviews. We didn't know when PSSR2 was coming. We just knew 2026. And I posted, AMD is sponsoring Crimson Desert on PC, and the game will have the full Redstone suite. Would be pretty neat if Crimson Desert ended up being the first game to introduce PSSR2 on PS5 Pro. Now, it wasn't the first, but it's going to be the second, and I wasn't too far off on that. So I just want to gloat a little bit. Like, I pretty much nailed that.
Yeah. And how are we feeling about the PSSR2?
Good. I was saying before the call here, I've been talking shit about PSSR1 all year because it sucks. I'm sorry. Like, there's, like, even the best games, like Ghost of Yotei, it still has a grainy, kind of smeary look to it. And I've proven in my videos and across Twitter that, like, the comparison between, like, PSSR1 and FSR 4.0, which was the launch version from, like, 2 months after PSSR1, blows it out of the water. And I'm like, this needs to improve. And then Mark Cerny's like, oh, FSR4 is great. We're going to try and backport it to PS5 Pro. I'm like, I really hope they manage to pull that off because that would be a massive, massive improvement for what they have now. And turns out they actually pretty much got FSR 4.1 backported to PS5 Pro, which is already like, yeah, it's good. If that system toggle works and there's minimal bugs or no bugs with it, like, that's going to be a nice big difference.
Game changer. I think it's a game changer.
Well, I booted up No Man's Sky on PS5 Pro just to try it out. That uses PSSR. Even in the 8K mode, it looks unstable, grainy, and crappy. That system toggle, assuming they don't just put it in officially, because Hello Games loves like technically updating that game all the time. That toggle, like FSR4 on PC in that game, which you have to use OptiScaler for that right now, pristine. Perfect image quality. No, there's not even a sign of a jaggy or a fizzle anywhere. That game, for example.
But Rebirth, this is just a testament of Mark Cerny's genius, honestly.
He's not even a Sony employee. He's a contractor.
He's just a genius, though, when he comes up with these consoles and the way he puts them together. Honestly, man, I've said that for years. I've made fun of the guy, how he talks, everything, how he looks like Dana Carvey.
He's a dork.
Yes, but you cannot fault the man when it comes to consoles, because you look at something like the Series X and the PS5, and on paper, the Series X just destroys the PS5. However, in real life with the games, they're very close. Even when the Series X has a better version, it's not by much. It's not crazy. You don't really notice it.
Series X could have, but the problem, like, RDNA 2 was designed to run, like, it was built to run at, like, above 2 gigahertz, like, anywhere from 2 to 2.5. PS5 runs around, like, 2.3 at its peak. The Xbox Series X runs at, like, 1.8 gigahertz. If they would have had to use more power, but, like, if they just pushed those 52 compute units to, like, 2.2 gigahertz or something instead of 1.8, like, it actually would have made a decent difference. I don't know why they did it that way.
They were really scared of overheating. I just think they just didn't want to deal with an Xbox. It's just like
Red
Samsung.
Ring again.
Why is Samsung not getting the new batteries, right? And it's because of the Note. They're scared to try new technology because they don't want their phones to blow up. And I think Microsoft, they have that same reservation. Yes, we could do it, but what if we have mass overheating systems? Because if that were to happen, that would have crushed them. So I think it's more on the side of caution. But I agree with you. I always thought that maybe after the beginning they would overclock it a bit, seeing that it's stable. They would test it behind the scenes and say, oh yeah, you know what? It can support higher clock speeds, so we'll push out a firmware update. They just never.
And by the way, the actual like hardware build quality of the Series X is incredible. I think it's the best in terms of just build quality and internal design. Is one of the best consoles I've ever seen. Solid. It is just so good. But it's also really expensive to build, and that's why it's they're selling the 2 terabyte Series X for like the price of a PS5 Pro. Again, Not a PS5 fanboy by any means, but like, why in the hell would you pick a 2 terabyte Series X over a PS5 Pro? Game Pass,
No,
maybe?
and what's so funny is that
Game Pass.
they lowered the price of that. They lowered it by like $120, and then it sold out. That goes to tell you that you're too expensive.
So, yeah, I don't know. The PS5 Pro, I don't see the PS6 personally coming out until at least 2028. What do you guys
Nope,
think?
2027.
Oh, absolutely. You think 2027?
They're both coming out 2027. Yeah.
I think
Microsoft
the
just said that the
PS6 isn't.
Yeah, Microsoft
What?
just said that dev kits, like alpha dev kits for the Helix, is not going out until 2027. So
Yeah,
They
but
did the
I-
same thing with
yeah,
the Series X.
Yeah. it doesn't
yeah, and
mean
look how
anything.
that turned out. The Series
Okay,
X had all
but
shitty
the
ports in
difference
beginning.
is that the difference is though,
It's unified PC.
since they're
though.
making PC ports, basically they're just
It's
making
unified.
PC games. It's going to be a lot easier than the
Yeah.
Series X.
It's
It
just,
is
it's just
true,
a
they're-
PC game.
Yeah, they're not
PC
going to have
game.
to do. They're not going to have to do anywhere near as much. So you guys
No.
are right about that for sure.
It's a PC
2027.
game. It's going to scale it to.
We'll get
Series
into that
S.
talk.
No,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah. That's another topic. We'll get into that. But yeah, for the PS6 though, I personally think 2028. I just don't think they're pushing right now. They're not in a rush because the PS5 Pro is selling like gangbusters right now. Like people have ran out to buy this thing because of PSSR2 and Resident Evil Requiem. You know what it reminds me of, D? You remember back on the Xbox One X when Red Dead 2 came out?
Red Dead 2. Yep.
And everybody ran out and bought a One X because Red Dead 2 version on the One X. It's the same thing with Resident Evil and PS5 Pro. He's probably not here.
No, I'm here. Sorry, I had
Oh.
to answer the door. What'd you say? Repeat it. Sorry.
No, it reminds me of the One X situation with Red Dead 2, how everybody was buying the game, the console for Red Dead
Yes.
2 back then. It's the same thing
Yes.
with Resident Evil and the PSSR 2. And
It's sold it out on PlayStation Direct. It's sold out there. It actually sold out. I was like, what the heck? It hasn't sold out since like the launch.
It didn't
Yeah.
sell out at launch.
Yeah, so it's getting a lot of hype, and I think when this happened, I think I posted on X, like, imagine this, imagine with GTA 6, how many copies are going to get sold. And now that we know that PSSR 2.0 is the real deal, that it's FSR 4, man, when GTA comes out and they announce PSSR 2.0 is enabled on it, and the benefits you get from it
Yeah,
with that game, it's
that
going to
too.
sell a lot of. GTA is going to sell gangbuster numbers, and it's going to move PlayStation 5 Pro.
that's why I don't see them pushing the PS6 yet. I don't see it because they're
have
going to
to.
be selling a lot of pros.
They have to. You know why? Because this stuff is already in the pipeline. They've already set this stuff out. I've been monitoring the PlayStation chip. They've been testing it for a long time. It's been ready for a while. So they're already there.
So you say holiday 27.
they're both coming out 2027. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not gonna.
I know
they're not gonna let Xbox
I'm pretty
come out
sure the Xbox
a year
is
before
for
them.
sure.
They're
Yeah.
they're not gonna allow them. They're gonna try to step on.
Okay. And before we get to the big meat and potatoes here, because we're going to get into the whole Xbox thing, we got a lot to say. Before we get into that, I do want to mention EA has laid off staff from DICE, Criterion, Ripple Effect, and Motive Studios as part of a realignment to focus the live service support for Battlefield 6. Despite the game being the best-selling game of 2025, they aim to streamline teams and cut costs following the death of Vince Zampella and pending a $55 billion acquisition by Saudi-led investors. So I'll go to you since you haven't talked much, D. What do you make of this, man?
So they're buying EA. It's official.
There's a Saudi investment group that are purchasing EA or tentatively, right? I think they're
Because I heard about
$55
this.
billion.
I heard about this, and then like nothing happened. So I just thought, oh, it's out. I don't know, man.
I think
EA, they do some things right, and then they do some things wrong. I don't like their handling of NFL. Like it's the same game every year. Like people will point out, hey, the banner, it's off, and like the banner's still off for like 3 years. Like they don't fix it. They just like copy and paste. Their NHL games, they copy and paste because I play the NHL games. It's like every year it's pretty much copy and paste. I don't think EA is the same EA that they used to be. So I don't know. they're so heavy on the microtransactions. If the Saudi Arabia group takes over, are they gonna change the whole philosophy of it? I don't know. It's
Dude,
weird. It's weird. It's just
EA
weird.
has been the devil for me for the past, I don't know, close to being a decade now. I
Longer
just
than
think
that
they've
for
been.
me.
I think they've been a terrible publisher for a long time now.
They used
Yeah,
to be
it's
so
probably
good, though.
longer. It's probably longer than a decade.
Remember
for
how
sure.
good they used to be, though?
Oh
They used
man,
to be
back in the
amazing.
360
In the
era,
6th gen.
era.
360 is
They
when
were
they started to go to
amazing.
shit. I think the 6th gen, like the PS2, Xbox, GameCube, Dreamcast. Well, not Dream.
Oh,
they
you're
didn't force
talking
that
about
Dreamcast,
like
but
the original like Bad Company and things like that were
yeah,
dropping.
like or
Yeah.
like when they actually had Maxis going and weren't making them a like they sacrificed Maxis to the DLC live service fucking thing a decade before it became the trend. I mean I was scrolling through. I don't really post on my personal Facebook much anymore, but I do scroll through the memories feature to see like posts from when I was in like high school, and I saw one from like 2010 where I was talking about how shitty EA is, and I was like 14 years old, 15 years old at the
That's
time.
hilarious. Jake's like, fuck EA.
Yeah, they did something. Like I forgot exactly what they did in 2010, but they did something that pissed me off. And yeah, that was way back then.
Yeah, that's crazy. But I mean, this layoff is crazy to me because I mean, well, maybe not so much. Battlefield 6 has dropped off a lot since the launch. I think the concurrent players on Steam started off at like 700,000 something players, and then it's dwindled from there. I mean, there's still a lot of players playing it. It's not like it's not being played. I don't know exactly what they're doing there, but I'm sure the death of Vince Zampella affected them a lot as well, because I mean, that dude was one of the best guys in the industry to make games like that, AAA games and stuff. That dude can't be replaced, unfortunately. I think that's part of it too. But the acquisition by the Saudi-led investment group, I don't know what's happening with that exactly, or how EA is going to end up eventually. Maybe it's for the better. Maybe they'll try harder. D. Maybe your next Madden will be changed up a bit, and it won't just be a refresh of the team. The players on the teams, and you'll actually get some new things. Because I remember they've been caught so many times taking assets from previous Maddens and previous NBA games and stuff, and just reusing them over and over every year. Just
Why wouldn't they? People buy them anyways.
Yeah. People buy it
I think
anyways.
it'd be cool if they did with those what they do with the F1 games, where they it's mostly just a roster change every year, but they also the developers try to push technology a little bit every year, just a little further and further. That stuff really could just be updates, but it'd be cool if they did something like that. But the problem is the F1 buyers, that doesn't sell anywhere near as number of copies as Madden or whatever they call it now. And the average, most of the sport game buyers just don't care about any of that stuff. It just doesn't matter to them.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that, but let's get into the meat and potatoes here. Let's talk about what we heard about today. Okay, so everybody's heard about Project Helix. This is the new Xbox PC/console hybrid, and T-Batch has a problem with people calling it a console, but I do not. I don't care what you call it. Yes, I know it's got that PC functionality and it's going to play PC Xbox games on there as well, but you still have the console game side. You still have the console Xbox mode that's going to be happening. And today at GDC, they talked a little bit about it. Jason Ronald got on stage and he said some things, but I don't know, Jake, if he said enough to kind of help my thoughts and feelings about this console. I wanted to hear a bit more, but what did you think about what he had to say?
I mean, it's pretty much all stuff we already knew. I feel like I don't remember if we had this conversation on here already, but I think we pretty much already established that the next Xbox console, whatever you want to call it, TV box, I guess we'll say, is pretty much going to be it's pretty much going to be the ROG Xbox Ally and Ally X, but just in TV box form and manufactured by Microsoft or whoever they contract out, rather than a third-party manufacturer. Asus did the Allies. It's pretty much just going to be that. I mean, yeah, there's we'll talk about this in a little bit, but there's going to be some extra functionality like allegedly playing older Xbox console games, but and by older I mean series and below. But otherwise, it's pretty much just going to be the exact same thing as the LIX, but in TV box form. And they pretty much confirmed that. I mean, they went over and said some like stuff about AMD SoC and design for path tracing and new FSR stuff, but like a trained monkey could have guessed that stuff. That was obvious. So I like basically all they did was just confirm the stuff that we could have just guessed, which is cool. I'm okay with that. And is it fitting to start talking about the Sony PC port thing? Because I think that's tangentially related to this.
Oh, you can say your piece on that because you weren't here to talk about this. I talked about it a couple of weeks ago with Hargeet, but yeah, go ahead and say what
so if Sony truly is like pulling back on the first party releases, like I think like they're still going to do multiplayer games. That's obvious. I mean, they just did Marathon. And I actually think they're going to pull from like the PS4 backlog and I think remasters and stuff. I think they'll probably still keep doing those. But
yeah,
that whole like Spider-Man 2 basically just a little over a year after the console version. I don't think that's happening ever again. And I think like you have to understand that these companies know what the other companies are doing like before we do. Like Microsoft knows what Sony's going to be doing. Sony kind of knows what Microsoft's going to be doing. There's corporate espionage is a real thing. And they like Sony got a whiff of Microsoft doing like their TV box was going to be essentially a Windows PC with like a controller mode, probably years ago when Microsoft first started planning it. And as soon as they got the whiff of that, they're like, shit. What's going to happen is Microsoft's going to release that TV box, and then there's going to like even if that TV box doesn't even sell like the PS6 is going to sell orders of magnitude more units than the Xbox Helix. Because the Helix is going to be a niche device. It's going to be a, TV PC. But Sony doesn't want those headlines of like, look at this next Xbox, or even look at this other TV box not made by us, like Valve Steam Machine or whatever. Look, it's playing Spider-Man 2. Look, it's playing Wolverine. It's playing God of War.
Yeah.
It was Valve to a lesser extent. That might have been what like pushed them over the edge, but like once they got the whiff that Microsoft was officially doing like the Windows PC and can play Steam games.
You already have 2 Steam boxes going to the living room. That directly affects their ecosystem.
It does, but
competes.
It does, but the Xbox headline of like, look at this Xbox playing playing God of War. Like they don't want those headlines. It really just comes down to that. Like they weren't making enough from the PC sales because they were releasing them years late and oftentimes not in good condition, like Spider-Man 2 or almost everything they've put out over the past couple of years, really. So people just weren't interested anymore. PC gamers have a lot of stuff to play, huge backlogs, so they weren't really all that interested. So Sony wasn't making a ton of money from those games, and with this, they can avoid those headlines of look at this Xbox. You can just buy the Xbox and you can still play, or the Steam Machine, and you can still play God of War. So,
crazy optics.
Absolutely, like that does matter, even if the PS6 is going to sell orders of magnitude more than the next Xbox, and especially the Steam Machine, which is only going to be sold on Steam and not in stores or on Amazon or anything. But yeah, outside of that, I think that that playing Xbox Series games and earlier feature that's going to be on Helix, which is what they mean when they say plays your console and PC games, I think that they're going to get that on Windows PCs eventually. I don't think that that's going to be exclusive to Helix forever.
Nope, it's not.
So
talk on that.
So really, like, this is just what this will be good for is it'll be a nice, easy to swallow, easy to accept entry-level gaming PC for people who want to like get into PC gaming but just aren't sure.
But let me back you up on that a little bit. Is it really an entry-level PC? If the specs are anything like that's being touted from Moore's Law is Dead and stuff, that is an entry level. Well, there's a ton of
it'll be
out there.
By entry level I mean like it's non-upgradable and it will be a fixed hardware strength for a number of years.
Sure. I think it's an entry level for someone that wants to get into PC and not have to sacrifice performance
with great specs. Let's add that.
With fantastic specs. If anyone downplays the specs, they're just hate. You can say it won't sell or it doesn't have exclusives. When we're talking at the hardware itself, it's got good specs.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think by the way, when it comes out, there's going to be PC GPUs that are going to, in relation to that Xbox, are going to make the Xbox back to being probably like maybe upper mid-range, PS6 maybe slightly lower mid-range, but still, like the mid-range is still very good. Like a mid-range PC right now is extremely good. So that's
but
not
do
a
you
bad thing.
realize though that it's a better PC than most PC gamers have out there?
Definitely. Most people, listen, all these PC guys, they cap. Oh, we got 5090s. No, most PC gamers got like a 3060 Ti, a 3080, you know, maybe a 4070
Steam has
now.
the stats. You can look at it. Like
5070 Ti is ramping up. A lot of people are buying a 5070 Ti, to be fair, but still, most people still don't have that in their rigs. I'll say this about the specs itself. The hardware specs is good. Now, I've talked to some engineers that know a lot more stuff that I just don't even. And what they've told me basically is that the Xbox Series Next, whatever you want to call it, is around 5080 performance. And I've extrapolated the data myself. I could see that, but just hearing an engineer, but just hearing an engineer, you know, reinforce what I'm saying just makes me feel good. So it's going to be around 5080, and the PlayStation 6, just based on the specs what we see thus far, is going to be around 5070 Ti performance. Now, if you look, 5080 is definitely more performant than a 5070 Ti, but cost difference is not worth the difference in performance. So I truly think that Project Helix is really going to come down to the price, because they're not coming with any exclusives, and I touch on that in my video. I'm not going to go all rage into it right now, but they put up some slides there that it's quite evident that they're continuing on the path that they're on right now. There's not going to be exclusives. You know, they're going cross-platform, and they're sticking to it. And you know, I heard from, you know, the same engineer. He also thinks that we're going to see the Xbox mode have backwards compatibility on PC as well.
I agree.
So what advantage does this Xbox Helix hybrid give you? And the only answer that keeps popping up in my head is it's got to be the price. It's got to be the price. Now, they haven't really gone into details about the AI features, because I've heard for the longest time behind the scenes that there's going to be a lot of AI on this console. And I was thinking a way that they could position the AIs that, hey, all of your backwards compatible games, the AI is going to just remap automatically. Textures.
Oh, kind of like
new lighting.
RTX
it's just gonna be
Remix or
done.
whatever.
Yeah, it's just gonna be done automatically, and your games are gonna look better, but better than RTX Remix, because that's really doesn't create crazy ass graphics. Something that just really improves the graphics. Like, it looks like a completely different visual game, but still plays the same. You know what I'm saying? I that could be a selling point, because I just don't see the purpose of it. You're gonna be putting all of this stuff on a regular PC. I can get a regular PC and do this stuff now. Xbox mode is coming to PC in April, so I'm going to be able to do it before Xbox players. So, like, what is the purpose?
Okay, let me talk about that real quick, because that goes into what I just want to make a statement. This is me. This is my opinion. This is how I feel about this console or PC. I say this thing is a PC that happens to play console games. And the reason why I say that is because if you look at what they're doing with this Xbox mode, it's coming to PC. And this is exactly what it's going to be like on that console as well, or PC, I should say. Now, I don't care if you call it a console, because it's in console form factor. It'll be that box in your living room that, you know, it's not going to be a big giant thing like high-end PCs are, but it is a PC. It's a PC that plays console games. And I'm fine with that. I don't see why any console gamer would get mad at that at all. I don't understand the argument. This is just me, but I think it's weird that people are arguing, it's a console, it's a PC, it's a console. Who cares, as long as the games are still coming to your whole library's there, and it's amazing.
So
I don't care.
I'll say this publicly. I've been there, hey, it's a PC. And now for me personally, it's because I said it was a PC, and everyone's saying, no, it's not a PC. And it's like, I told you, like, you guys don't listen to the things that I say, and they're coming true. So for me, it's that, and I kind of harp on that, yes. Now, I will say, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because it is pretty crazy
doesn't.
that you're gonna have a PC that's gonna be able to play your console games. I think it's fantastic for PC overall. I think it's gonna help move PC going forward. I think it's gonna help with compilation stutter. Compiling the shaders is going to be better because it's going to be more streamlined.
Oh yeah, that's the other part too, D-Batch. All their Xbox games from now on going forward will be PC games.
Yeah, all of them.
They'll be PC games. You'll get all the options, everything that other PC games. That's what it is. That's what you're going to get. It'll pay your back library. Somehow they're going to be able to do that, of course.
See, this is one thing. This is one thing that maybe you guys can help clarify. You know, the way that they write the literature, it's so, you know, precise. And they keep saying, they keep saying we'll play your Xbox current games. It'll say you play your Xbox current games. So are those the current games that are in the Microsoft store? What happens to the third-party games? They need to be a lot clearer.
I agree they need to be clearer. I think what they're going to do is, like, in general, what they'll do is they'll prioritize that if the game has a PC version, they're going to do Play Anywhere stuff. So if it has a PC version, with like Forza Horizon 6, for example, that's what the Helix is going to play. It's not going to play the Xbox Series console version.
100% confident in that. But what about third party?
But the third party virtualization, like the Xbox One and later have just used Windows hardware and essentially a Windows development environment when running the games. So they just have to use virtualization to, and Google that if you want to see what that is. I'm not going to explain that here, but that they'll just use that. That'll be how they play the Xbox Series games. And then if they want to bring like they were talking about like making more 360 games available, maybe original Xbox emulation. There's already like robust 360 and OG Xbox emulation on PC right now made by fans. Microsoft could blow that stuff out of the water for themselves if they wanted to. So virtualization for Series and emulation for anything older. Xbox One and then virtualization for emulation for anything earlier than Xbox One. Easy.
Now, and also you can go back to like, I think Valve had one. I know Alienware had these console form factor PCs for the living room years ago.
The old Steam machines from a decade, from 12 years ago.
And they were PCs. Guess what, guys? They called them consoles. They also called them consoles. PC
they didn't even have good like TV UIs at the time. There was the old Steam big picture mode, which wasn't very good. The current one is extremely good. It's the same layout as the Steam Deck. Really, really good. But
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at the end of the day what you call it, and it shouldn't bother anybody. Like it shouldn't make you mad that I say it's a PC that plays your console games. Like, why get upset at that? I
will say that like you were talking about the like what it'll be competing with and what market it'll disrupt. It is. I think that the pre-built PC manufacturers, including some of the decent ones like CyberPower, they're not going to like this new Xbox very much. Now, again, the pre-built PCs are upgradable for the most part. You can swap the graphics card out later, so it can be a good entry level for someone who wants to maybe get into building. I think you should just get to building right away.
Sounds a lot like those old Alienware PC consoles.
So,
this will be like if I'm talking to a just pure casual who I know is like never going to be good enough to swap out their own graphics card, and I want to introduce them to PC gaming, I'd be more comfortable with this than like a iBuyPower, for example.
And by the way, I want to say something too. I talk to Jason Ronald all the time. I love Jason Ronald. He's a good dude. We've talked for years now, and when my parents died and everything, you know. It's not a parasocial relationship with this guy. This guy, I consider him a friend. He's reached out when my parents died and everything out of the blue. He didn't have to. And I've talked to him from time to time. And any tech question I ever have, I always go to him, even if it's not about Xbox. It doesn't matter. I'll ask him any tech question because he's a smart dude. Anyways, so I talked to him and he doesn't understand why people argue about this stuff. He doesn't care. He doesn't care what you call it or if people are arguing about emulation versus native. Like he just doesn't care. He's like, it's weird to him.
I'll say this. I think it's more the argument that everyone was saying, listen, Xbox is going to PC and people just being in denial about it. I think it's more about that because when I personally look at the hardware that in that machine, I it's good. And I even thought that the hardware was good in the Xbox Series X. The S, sorry, Jason, I just don't like that one. The X is a well well-built machine. I have one right here. I'm staring at it right now, the Halo edition. I think it's a beautiful looking console. I think it's a better looking console than the PlayStation. Even though I prefer that platform right now, it's a better looking console. The PlayStation
Oh
is
yeah.
not really a good looking console. And this Xbox full screen experience, I use it on my PC now, and I have to say it's a refreshing change. And I'm still able to use like my Afterburner. I'm still able to use these other capture software on it. And I don't know if Jason watches your show or any of the guys that do the software on there. Now I got to say this: if this hybrid, which we know it's a PC, it's going to have access to PC stuff. There should be a very good capture ability on this device, as well as a frame rate counter. That's something that's desperately needed on consoles, a built-in frame rate counter. Shouldn't be too hard to do now, seeing how
I know why they don't
Windows
do it.
PC.
I know why consoles don't do it.
watch out. You're getting into that whole conversation again with the whole emulation thing. Look, Jason Ronald don't care about that either.
Yeah, you know what? At the end of the day, I'll
you're
be honest with you.
You're getting to play it on your box. It doesn't matter.
It's a PC, and I'll be honest with you. The Xbox guys I like to troll and argue with online, they've all conceded that it's a PC. So I think that's it, man. It's a PC.
Look,
it is what it is.
The thing, though.
PC is
like
absorbing
the other
Xbox.
They called their machines consoles too. I mean, I'm not going to correct people and say it's not a console, it's a PC. I'm just telling you what I say.
It's a console-like experience, which is afforded to you via the Windows PC thing. And I'll be honest, when I use the Windows full screen experience, it feels like I'm on a console. I don't have to worry about all the other crap in Windows. It's just my gaming stuff, and that's the experience that they're trying to deliver with this machine. And I got to say, it's good for PC. I think that's a good thing for PC.
And I think it's good for console gamers because to market it as a console, it puts them a bit at ease.
Yes,
honestly.
It does. It does. They have to do that.
We have a guest. Let me
try
to get him in here. My God, I have two people in here now. I have a
few gamers that
I'll fix it.
Are going to be reluctant to upgrade to this system because it's a PC in nature. Some of them just not going to like that at all. It's also probably going to be
over $1,000, if not
definitely
more.
Definitely going to be over 1,000.
Like that's like easily that's going to be what pushes a lot of the console casuals away because they want their $500 boxes.
And I'll say this:
most of the market.
This is the PC builder in me, but I build a lot of small form factor PCs for people. I build stuff consoles smaller than that are powerful 5080 with a 5090 with a 70 Ti that have a console form factor. And these new builds that I've been doing, I've been putting the Xbox full screen experience on them, and they're falling in love with them. So it's I'm not saying a console's form factor is not good, but I'm saying you can also do this on PC. You can build a small form factor. That's been a thing for years.
Yeah.
How's it going, everybody?
Zocker, welcome.
I updated my drivers, and now it does not detect my camera. And I was like, for 10 minutes trying to fuck with it, and I was like, you know what? I'm jumping on.
Okay, well,
if
you can't get your camera on, it's no biggie.
It's just not detecting. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, welcome, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, sorry I'm a little late. Had some work, but what are you gonna do?
Xboxer Mike, I'm out. D-Batch is a former co-host of RDX, but for some reason he transformed into a clown and referred to us as Xbots.
Yo.
Relax, Xbot. Relax.
You're all PC gamers now, and I accept you with warm, open arms.
Honestly, look, man. There's nobody's making fun of you, Xboxer Mike. Stick around. You'll enjoy the show. We got Zocker here now.
Name checks out, though. Name checks out.
Yeah, name does check out. Hey, Zocker. So what say you on this? Well, let me ask you first. What would you consider the new Xbox? I know it's marketed as a PC console or a console even, but what would you say it is first? What do you think it is?
From what I was looking at and what I've seen, they're running, D, tell me if I'm wrong, because I was at work all day, so I didn't get to go through all the nitty gritty, but it sounds like they're running PC versions of games on this thing. Right? So they're running PC versions.
Yes, they are. They are.
Yeah, I figured. Jake, hi, pleasure to meet you. I don't know if we met before, but anyways.
We have not, but pleasure to meet you too.
He's another tech guy, Jake. So we got
cool.
Good stuff.
Yeah, so I feel like if they're running PC versions of stuff, this is a question I had on multiple podcasts and my videos. I was like, how are they going to pull this off if you sell a console version and a PC version? Publishers, third-party publishers are not going to want that because then you get two versions of the game somewhere, right? Like they're like, we might miss out on sales. And so I think Microsoft saw the licensing issue that might happen. And we're like, screw it. It's going to be PC releases. And that's what it's going to be. I see them trying to make this kind of a mainstay for a lot of people. Like, because if you have a PC and, you know, it's really shitty and you can't upgrade right now, because if we look at everything going on, I could see this having some form of a market of people being like, you know what, this is a pretty decent spec for the price. I'll just buy it. And so I see it as like a true hybrid because it is going to emulate the rest of like your library from like the Series X, the Xbox One.
Oh, you used the dirty word, the E word, emulate. Is it going to emulate though? Do we know if it's
so?
Gonna
What I said, I mean, I said that my guess was Xbox One to Series virtualization, and then anything earlier emulation.
Maybe. I mean, they didn't go into details with that, did they?
No.
They didn't, and I don't think they're going to probably until.
I don't think they
launch.
care as long as it works, right? Like I don't think anyone
That's
should
exactly
care.
what Jason Ronald's attitude is. He won't tell me. He's under NDA and stuff, so you know, I don't even bother asking him stuff like that. But he just basically says, "Why does it matter as long as it gets to you if you can play all your games?"
I think because of the classification, it's a PC. I think that's it.
Also, PC gamers are going to want to tinker, and whether it's emulated or virtualized, will affect that.
Yeah, it's just the nature of what it is now.
Yeah,
I mean, it is a PC, but there's also a dev kit coming out for it, and I know a lot of people are like, well, do PCs need dev kits? And it's like, no, but at the same time, this is a specific form of hardware that people can aim toward. To me, it kind of does feel like a true hybrid. Where yes, it's going to play PC games. I get that, but they're also going to have specifications or specs on there that certain publishers are going to aim for.
Good
right?
point.
Like that's what that is, right? Like they're going to be like, okay, here you go.
I think
it does feel like a hybrid.
I think that's built in. I think that's I from what the impression that I got today, I think that's just built in.
No, they said that they're putting out dev kits next year.
Specifically for Helix, or it's just the dev
Helix
kit to do everything. Helix Series
2027, they're putting out a dev kit.
Just for Helix, though, or is it? Did you look at the presentation? Because the presentation says it's just one dev kit and it delivers for all of them. The cloud, Series S,
that's Fab,
PC.
right? That's Fab, FAB. That's the Fab one that like a lot of people can even PlayStation uses that. The point of this one is that it is going to be for the specific, I believe, dev kit for Helix, and this is why I say it is a true hybrid, right? Like to me, even.
Well, it is a
Steam Machine is even Steam Machine is somewhat of a hybrid. You can do nothing with it. You can never tinker with it, and it feels like a console. Or you can go crazy on it.
I wouldn't go as far to call a Steam Machine a hybrid. I would.
They're both. I say console-like PCs.
Yeah,
is what they are.
I wouldn't definitely call it a hybrid.
Well, it's something that hasn't been out before.
The Helix a hybrid, yeah, but it's like done before. It's just big picture Steam mode.
Speaking of that, real quick, Biff Rinaldi, thank you for being a member for 39 months. He says, I can't wait for PC performance on my big TV and my comfy chair. I don't care if it's a PC or a console. Just give it to me. That's a good attitude, Biff. I'm with you on that.
I mean, that's where I'm at, honestly. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it emulates as long as it works and it doesn't annoy me. Because the number one thing I hate is when tech doesn't work. When tech doesn't work, it pisses me off. And so this is not going to be like that.
Do you think that's the reason why they're coming out with the Xbox mode now in April for our PCs? Because it's kind of be like a testing
zone?
they
came out with it. Test it out.
They came out with it during the ROG X. Like they had like that was the alpha for it basically.
Yeah, no, the Xbox Ally systems were absolutely like, and then the eventual Windows release of that is absolutely like they want the people who are enthusiasts who would actually be installing that themselves to like be the testers, find the problems, give feedback on like, that's what happened with SteamOS, by the way.
I've been testing it for a while, and honestly tell you, it's pretty good from the odd time just not loading in like picture.
It ain't as good as SteamOS yet as far as like that kind of functionality. But like SteamOS was not very good at first either. And
Steam sucked.
Feedback
the UI is better looking. I think the navigation is better looking. Just
I really love
Steam's
the
just
Steam. I really love the Steam Big Picture Mode UI. Like it's so like I like that more than PS5
maybe
or
I don't know.
Xbox Series
Maybe
UIs.
maybe this is something I could put out there. Maybe from years of being on Xbox and loving the brand, maybe it just feels very familiar. I just maybe that could be the reason why, but I prefer it over the Steam.
I like both. I'm actually like because I've been on Steam my whole life, and so when they did big picture mode, I always messed with it. And yeah, Jake, you're right. When the Steam Deck release or that Steam OS came out, they were putting out legitimately like weekly patches. They really knew like, all right, we need to be really quick with this stuff, especially with like immersion breaking things. And they did that for a year and a half to 2 years. This wasn't an easy like flip around for them. And so I think if Xbox has that same level of support on that Windows side, where, hey, this console is going to be this way, and I think it's coming out in April because of that. Because think about it, if it comes out late 2027 or early 2028, they have 2 years to legitimately work on this with a big audience, or a year and a half. And I have no problem with that. I think that's totally fine.
When it first came out, there were so many problems with it on PC with the drivers. I remember when I was beta testing it, it wouldn't detect my AIO, and then so I couldn't control the fans, and it was overheating. I had to uninstall a version of it. I had to get a hot fix for it. Then it worked. So there was a lot of bugs, but I will say at least in the last 5 weeks, I have not experienced any issues. It just works so smoothly. I'm able to access all my games from all my different storefronts. It's just a beautiful thing. I can boot into it, so I can have it set up that okay, I want to just boot into this and disable all the crap from Windows, and I can just boot into it and have a seamless experience. And I actually get a little bit better performance as well because it's not running a bunch of crap in the background. So I think it's a fantastic thing for PC and for console guys coming up. There, I like I'm on the fence. I think it's going to be a dual boot system. I think you're going to have some way to boot into Windows fully if you want to, but I think it's not going to be forced, and I think it's not going to be upfront and center on that, and I don't think it should be. But if they just boot into it, the full screen experience, console guys are going to feel right at home. They're going to feel right at home. They're not even going to know that they're on a PC. I'm just being honest, and I think that's one of their end goal is to get more people on PC, but to get it in a way that's streamlined. PC's not exactly streamlined.
See, this is my problem with this, is that this whole architecture, all of it that was built on this was built during an era without this leadership. And so this hardware feels like we're in this kind of limbo where we understood what they were trying to do. This seems like a Phil or Sarah Bond type of move. But when you hear Asha and Matt Booty talk now, it is a very different tone. And so this at GDC, whatever they did, Ronald talked about this stuff, all of it, it feels like a strategy that's older. And I don't know where this stuff is going to be. And I think one of the reasons I get people are saying like, oh, they're bringing out in April to talk to like for people to like test and they can really do things with it. To me, I think they're bringing it out in April it's all data points right now. I think this current person, Asha Sharma, is looking at how many people are going to use this. What is it going to do? Is big picture mode going to actually work? Or do we need to revert back and just really concentrate on the console? And that's what I think is happening.
Well, there was a time where I was hearing rumors and stuff. I'll call them rumors, where they were internally debating whether or not to actually go put this console out. And that I keep hearing things that was a real thing just in the past few months. So, it's cool to see the thing coming out because, as somebody who likes tech and stuff, I want to see what this thing can do. But it's also kind of weird because, like you said, Zocker, the old regime, let's call it, they're the ones that built this thing and pushed this thing along. Yeah. And then you've got these new people that are like Asha's talking about like wanting to really emphasize the console and stuff. And it's like, well, the only way to do that and to really get people excited for this. I mean, look, people can get excited about the specs. I get that. But if the price isn't right, specs alone ain't going to help you. What you need there are exclusive experiences that compel people to buy into your brand. that is a big issue, and that's one I'm hoping that they tackle. I hope that they supposedly they're looking into everything, and they're looking into even exclusivity and stuff now.
Yeah,
And they're even
sure.
looking at Game Pass and possibly restructuring. But
Lower the price for starters.
the problem is, like, that's how you win people back to a platform. And I don't know, like,
Can I say something real quick?
Specs be everything, D? Can specs be everything here?
So
Can you win them
there's
back?
a few things here. The specs for the specs are great. I think it's really going to come down to the price for the specs. I personally think PC is just absorbing Xbox. I think their ultimate goal is to get this Xbox mode over. I think if they do this Xbox mode right, I think a lot of PC gamers will use it. And if they use it, maybe there's a possibility they might sub to Game Pass. Maybe they might buy a game there that's cheaper. I don't know. Most PC gamers buy from other storefronts, but maybe it's a possibility. But it's going to bring more people to the PC ecosystem, which is in turn going to sell more of their games because they just want to push their games. And they're just going to use PC as the home base. This is, Xbox games, they play best on PC. That's it. I think that's the end goal. I think this is more of an ode to the fans. I think they've already invested so much money into this, and they've already let the rabbit out the hat. And we've known about this for quite some time. They just have to go forward with it. There's a new regime change, but plans are still in motion, and they're just gonna have to see it through. And Xbox is just pretty much gonna be PC now, but the games will live on, and you'll still have access to your back catalog of games.
So I
on
think,
any PC.
I think this may honestly, aside from like the extreme hardcore Xbox guys, I think this speaks more to the PC guys as well, D.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a good price for the spec that it is. You might see PC guys buying into this thing.
Yeah.
But that price point for console
very
gamers,
important.
and I'm not saying every console gamer is broke.
The
or anything
hardcore
like
guys
some
will
people
get it.
might
I know they'll get
not
it.
do
day
it.
one.
Hardcore guys will definitely get it.
Yeah.
But I've had console guys tell me, "Hey, I can't afford $600, $700 for a console. I don't know how expensive this thing's going to be, but I can pretty much guarantee if it is at this spec they're speaking, it's got to be over $1,000.
Yeah, man.
It's got to
Absolutely.
be.
Easy. Like I said initially, $1,200 to $1,500 is where
I agree. Yeah, no, I agree with that. But as for the talk, by the way, about potentially like, oh, they might go back to like traditional console, you guys know why the Xbox division was created in the first place, right? Like, I know this was almost 30 years ago, so there's, times change, but like Microsoft created the Xbox division because it was the late 90s. We didn't know if like living room PCs were a fad. They kind of were. People moved to smartphones eventually, but Microsoft, like Sony was like overhyping the PS2's like functionality, as in like they were kind of hyping it up to be like this replacement for the family PC. It was going to do all this stuff. It was going to be your main internet hub and media hub and games, and Microsoft was just scared shitless that like consoles, as silly as it sounds, were going to replace PCs, Windows PCs specifically. So like they've already accomplished what they needed to accomplish with the Xbox brand, and you can tell like they've been kind of lost ever since on how to continue it. But I don't think they're going back to that traditional console model. They're not going to like release exclusive games for it and like sabotage Windows in any way. Now, and I know that means like, oh, they could just not release on PlayStation, but I don't think that's happening either. They're moving those up. The only reason Forza Horizon 6 isn't day and date on PS5
It's not ready.
Because, well, it's not just that. It's also that they just released Forza Horizon 5 on PS5, so they want to at least give that some breathing room. They could easily get a PS5 version of Horizon 6 ready to go. But like, yeah, like, and by the way, none of this is a secret. You can watch the official like Xbox documentary that Microsoft put out a few years ago, and the whole first episode is all based on this entire thing I was just talking about, where they were just scared shitless that like Sony was going to replace them in the living room as like the primary media appliance versus like the Windows PC, because we didn't know if Windows PCs in general were going to stick around. Like it was only half a decade at that point that they started to become ubiquitous in the American household. So that's all done. That's not a worry anymore. And like honestly, like I think the writing on the wall has been there that Microsoft's just gonna eventually move away from that traditional console model as soon as the Xbox One started flopping in the beginning. Like as soon as Don Matrick was gone and Phil Spencer replaced him, I think right then and there it's like they were lost obviously and still kind of are uncertain, but like I think the writing was just on the wall then. I came across one of my old Facebook posts in like 2015 where I'm like, oh, Microsoft is releasing all of their first-party games on PC now. What's the point of an Xbox One? Most worthless console ever.
But it slowly declined from there. The sales, that's when it started, was when they went to PC.
Yeah, it did.
Once it went to PC, I played the majority of my games on PC, but I had Game Pass where I was able to play the games on the console too. So I was still at that.
I gotta actually push back on this a little bit because I understand what you're saying. Like that's a very known fact that like, yeah, it was the living room, and Bill Gates was actually the one that was like, fuck it, Sony's trying to go for it, we're going for it too, and we're going to compete with them. And that's where everybody sees the golden age of Xbox, right? Where they were competing with Sony, competing with everybody, competing with Nintendo, competing, aka competing. That's the whole point. To me right now, I think we need to be very mindful of just becoming, we're releasing our games on PlayStation and PC and getting rid of your platform. Because everybody keeps talking about how much Baldur's Gate sold, how much this other game sold, how much this other game. Those games don't have platforms. They do not have a platform where other games, and they get 30% off of those other games. PlayStation is protecting that. Xbox, if they don't start protecting that, you can start looking around the industry and seeing that third-party publishers are not doing well. Ubisoft is having a massive shakeup because they didn't sell well. EA just laid off their most sold game last year in Battlefield 6 and laid off a shit ton of them. EA had to do restructuring. All of these third-party publishers are not doing well. And the only ones that are basically Take-Two because they have the most sold media game ever, or the most sold form of media ever in GTA.
Yep.
So we're sitting here saying that, they wouldn't want to get rid of those sales on PlayStation, or they wouldn't want to. I don't think that is the way you look at it when you actually have a platform that people have existed on. I think you need to protect your platform more than you do need to protect your so-called publishing.
Their platform is dead.
Microsoft
the only thing that's going to keep them alive is their publishing. Sorry.
They're a publicly traded company with shareholders, and shareholders just want the next quarter to be stock price higher so they can cash out. They don't care about long-term growth or stability.
Well, they just lost $450 billion in a day. So I think they're more worried about that.
That's because their AI developments are going to shit. That's why.
Yeah, everything. The point is that are we going to actually are they going to sit there and go, you know what? Our AI development is going to shit. Our Windows has gone to fucking shit. Everything has gone to shit. Now we're going to be like, you know what? I'm really going to sit here and really think that our publishing is going to do really well at Xbox if we just might as well just take out our platform.
No,
well, let me ask you then, Soccer. Let me ask you a question.
PC now. It's this hybrid PC console and PC. That is their platform.
Okay, but D-Batch, but how many of these PC hybrids do you think will actually sell?
Orders of magnitude less than the PS6.
Yes, but at the same time, they're integrating this into PC, to regular PC.
Yeah, no, I get that, but their platform. Look, Asha says that she wants to bring people back to the console. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
There's no way to do that other than having exclusive, compelling experiences within that console. There's no way other than to do that, because I don't see this thing selling more than 10 million.
Yeah, but even if
10 million.
Okay, I'll tell you this, FOnz. If they were to do exclusives on that console, it wouldn't sell that many.
But here's the thing. Well, no, because there's not that many compelling games, right?
They would lose all that money, revenue from thing. In my opinion,
have potentials. That you've got Forza, you've got Gears E-Day might be a really good game that might sell some consoles. Who knows? You've got what else? See, I don't even look at Halo anymore and go, "Wow."
So, like the point you're trying to say, FOnz, is
but
in my mind,
they need to make better, compelling games. They need to make bigger games that sell.
At the end of the day,
platforms.
Whatever you make, if it's a good game, if it's a massive game, and I'm not talking like, the next Halo. No. I'm talking about you need new IP that
New
people go,
IP.
holy shit from.
Exactly.
And that's what
Exactly.
you need, is something to really grab them. At any
Yeah.
point, like when your CEO of gaming says we could make a 10 out of 10 game and it wouldn't sell any more consoles, the fucker gave up.
That was bullshit.
And it's
That
like
was
cool.
bullshit.
And it is bullshit because you could see the attach rate of Nintendo, you could see the attach rate of PlayStation, where they've sold over 20 million units on like their first party. And I was one of the people that said first party wasn't the reason people bought PlayStation. It was because of Fortnites and shit like that. I think now that a good majority of people actually see those PlayStation games as a reason to get it, right? Like, do you not think, does anybody here think that Wolverine's not going to fucking kill?
You know what
Well,
it's
it
kind of
is.
reminds me of? It reminds me of, I see where you're coming from, and it reminds me of, like, I'll give a car analogy. You know, say Acura, for example. I mean, they don't sell it anymore, but they made the NSX supercar originally in the 90s
Mhm.
because they wanted to have that halo car in their showroom that people would think is so cool, and then they go in and they buy an RDX SUV. Like, it's kind of like that, where exclusives don't have like a super high attach rate as in a percentage of the consoles, because again, the majority of the buyers are Fortnites and Maddens and stuff like that. But when you have the tent poles there, it's like the supercar in the showroom that the vast majority of people aren't going to buy. That being said, I want to make a point here that like Microsoft's not making console like as in like game only on a box ever again. As in like if they release a first party game, it's going to also be on PC. I mean, this is obviously a PC hybrid we've already talked about, but even if they were making like another series like traditional console, they would never ever go back to not releasing on Windows ever again. So the exclusive thing, it doesn't matter. Like there is no box with exclusive Microsoft games, and it's never going to happen.
Let me ask you this then, Jake. Why make this box?
Because they want people to do more Windows gaming, and they want to make an accessible entry PC.
But I mean, let's be realistic. If it only sells 10 million,
that doesn't make sense.
Why?
Because
Why
you
make
can
this
just go
box?
buy a laptop for $700.
Yeah,
that's why I said the price is very important. If it's priced right,
but what's the difference? If they're not going to take a fucking loss on the price, then right? If they don't,
yeah,
care
they're not.
about it,
There's no subsidizing.
Okay, realistically though,
$1,200
is high for a console game. I get, but $1,200 for 5080 specs, good CPU, 2 terabyte drive, a controller.
How much is that right now? If it's not the console, how much is that right now? If you build that right now,
a 5080.
Yeah, 5080.
You got to buy a
5080 is $1,500 by itself, but that's also
okay. So then there, right there, done. That doesn't matter to me anymore because I know what it costs, and I know, and plus the whatever they have, like the 40 gigs or what did they say? How many gigs of RAM?
48 gigs of unified
48 gigs of RAM. It's like, okay, they're not going to sell it for $1,200 to $1,500 unless they want to at a loss, that big of a loss, unless they really want to sell this thing. And so I am in the point is like I'm in a very peculiar situation in my head, at least, where I am in equal parts that with Jake that, hey, they are never going to build a console again. I am in equal parts with D-Batch, where they're just going to be a publisher and they really want to push Windows. And I'm also in equal parts that they might sell this fucker off to Prop AI. And I'm also in equal parts that they might go back to exclusives and make consoles. I don't know what they're going to do. Whatever they say doesn't mean anything to me. The only real thing that she has said is the plan is the plan until it's not the plan. That's all. And all of this shit that's happening right now is a plan from an older regime at Microsoft that is gone. Sarah Bond is gone. And everybody under her is gone. And all the people that they felt were killing the brand are gone. So that shows one thing, that they actually do care about the brand to some extent.
But that's
there's
why
also
my
that's just
overall
what it is.
question stands. It's like, why make this console if you're not really trying to sell this console? You guys know what I mean. You're really not.
I don't know.
trying to.
Anyone that doesn't think this console is going to be niche, I don't. Yeah,
it's a
hard
going
to buy
niche.
It'll do good for the first month because it's new shiny, but it's gonna in the end it's gonna be depending on the price.
Because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen next gen. You're going to get a ton of console gamers, including some Xbox gamers. I know some people that are Xbox guys in the chat will probably say, that ain't going to be me. But a lot of console gamers are just going to migrate to the PS6. That's just what's going to happen. Because
they already have.
Yeah, no, they have already started. Yeah. They've already started with the PS5 Pro even. But that's what I see. I don't see this thing selling
Yikes.
any more than 10 million throughout the
Yikes.
generation. I don't.
Yikes.
And that's
Yikes.
because there's no compelling reason to do so
And then-
outside of specs
then
and
what-
pricing.
What happens
pricing.
to Xbox at that point?
That's what I'm
that's
saying.
the point, D. Like,
That's my whole argument. It's like
that's our
you
argument.
either compete or you don't, and you just your platform goes away.
I just
you're
think
just
this is their Hail Mary, and they're just trying to prop up PC.
But
That's-
how is it a Hail Mary?
It's not a Hail Mary,
They're trying, to
it's
make
a
lemon,
fan.
they're trying to make lemonade out of lemons.
Yeah,
You
but that's not going to
can't
happen. That's
sell
the
it.
old regime, though. Like this whole thing is old regime, brother.
I agree. So I actually agree with. I agree with both of you guys. But I would actually be willing to bet this 9070 XT PC, this PS5 Pro, and the Switch 2 that Microsoft's never like doing first party games like not on Windows ever again. Like they're never doing like first party exclusive to a box ever again. I would bet all this hardware in front of me.
You mean the PC? Yeah.
Now, not releasing on PS5 anymore or whatever. Like I could see them contemplating pulling away from that. But pulling away from releasing their first-party games on Windows, never happening. I would bet all of my tech possessions.
You don't think the guy like to me? This is what if they really wanted to compete, I think it's coming to PC. That's me. I think Game Pass will go away, and I also think that just maybe they will take games off of Steam, and then it's at that point because Steam, right? Why did they build their machine? Why did they build the Steam machine?
To increase
in the living
SteamOS.
Yeah, SteamOS.
They built that because they want Windows to move away from. They want the Windows gaming monopoly to go away. They want increased adaptation of
and they want Linux and Proton to take over. And
I agree with also the pulling away from Steam thing. I agree with that too. That I think they'll eventually do that. They had to do that now out of necessity because like that's where PC gamers buy their games.
Because they would make all their money on their Windows store.
But if they can make the Windows gaming like the Xbox interface really catch on, and people are on there, and then the Xbox store is front and center. I don't know how successful this is going to be, but I could 100% see them like pulling away from PlayStation and Steam eventually, but not Windows in general.
No, Windows in general. No, I'm not saying that.
Like
saying
first
that,
party
like-
games on Windows, I mean.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that they are going to do something that is going to be different than what we see now. And if it is just like, hey, we're just gonna keep doing what we're doing, then quite honestly, Asha Sharma is an idiot for taking the job because then she just took over something that she's supposed to kill, and that's not a
No,
good thing to have on your resume.
she wants to get
It's a
more
tall
users to
task.
engage with the brand, and they are pushing it to PC. It's pretty clear.
Pushing the brand to PC, it's already there though, D.
No, but there. This
D-Batch,
is
what's
it.
harder? What's harder, D-Batch? What's harder? Getting somebody to leave Steam and go into the Xbox ecosystem, or getting somebody to leave Xbox and go to the PlayStation system?
I don't know. I guess
That's a good question, actually.
Take someone out of the
Soccer.
Xbox system and go into the
Exactly.
PlayStation?
So why would they go to Steam, which is absolutely adored by everybody, and be like, you know what, we're going head to head with them on just PC, and that's it. Everybody failed. Ubisoft failed. EA failed. Bethesda failed. Epic is trying their best, and the only reason why they're propped up on PC is because of Fortnite.
True.
And if you don't think exclusives fucking matter, then why isn't
But
Counter-Strike on consoles?
what?
Why
Listen,
isn't Counter-Strike on Epic Games?
They need to combat Steam in a sense.
So
of
Epic Games tried the
games on Linux. They want games to remain on Windows.
Epic Games tried the exclusive route, and it failed miserably, just like we all said it would.
This is also a
No,
part
it
of
did
it
not.
because the Steam OS is not going to be running Windows, right? And it's going to be playing a lot of games. And
I'm sorry. Hold on. Time out. The Epic did the exclusive thing did work. Buying third-party games didn't work. Fortnite did. Shit ton of people play Fortnite only on Epic Games, and they did the textbook play that Steam did, which was we have a game that everybody wants to play, aka Counter-Strike, aka Fortnite. We're making it exclusive. If people, and Dota 2 is exclusive also on Steam. If everybody thinks that exclusives don't matter, then you hate exclusives, then you should fucking hate Steam because they have those games exclusive on their fucking platform.
Yeah,
So I'm not understanding.
Who's saying exclusives don't
I'm
matter?
talking about the third-party sales on Epic, which is what matters because again, Microsoft like is going to want third-party sales on their own storefront. They don't want people buying it on Steam. But Epic Games tried the third-party exclusive route, even the first-party route. Like Alan Wake 2 is not selling all that well on PC. If you look, Epic Games releases their revenue every year, and it like every publisher.
They also have
and
Rocket
these-
League.
Like
They have Rocket League exclusive
so
on
the
there too.
point I'm making is like Fortnite is not getting people to buy third-party games on Epic Game Store. It's getting people to install Epic Game Store and play Fortnite, but they're not buying third-party games on Epic Game Store. So it's
No, because Epic Game Store, because people aren't realizing that it's extremely hard to build a platform like Steam or Epic Games, and Epic Games does not have near the features that Steam does. So am I going to trust Microsoft to build something that can compete with that? Or am I going to trust Microsoft to compete with somebody like PlayStation, because they have been for decades?
There it is.
So I'm not going to sit here and think like we're just going to take on Steam right away.
Oh, you're talking to PC. You're talking under the perspective of a PC.
Yes, I'm talking perspective of the PC. If you think they're just going straight PC, then my God, they need to have Halo level of 360 games come out, because that's the only, and like 3 of them for them to even compete.
Yeah,
but
they're also trying. Like I told you, they're also competing with Steam OS. Don't forget that Steam machine is going to come out. It's going to be running Linux. It's going to have their Steam OS. They're competing with that. There's a lot of gamers that, oh, I don't like gaming on Windows. Windows sucks. Oh, I have all these issues. Oh, I can't wait to go over to Steam OS. So there's a competition there and a threat to them as well. And this is part of that push to unify it, to get as many people on there, this platform as possible. And they're just PC's just absorbing Xbox. That's just the fact of it. Everything else is cold.
Madwell, thank you for the 25, man. I appreciate that. You could have said something in there. You could have said like F Zocker, or Zocker is a toddler or something. Anyways, but thank you. I appreciate you.
Listen, I don't think. Listen, I'm going to say that I don't give a shit. I'm a PC gamer. PC gamers are some of the biggest whiny bitches I've ever fucking played with.
Real.
And they're going to complain. They're going to complain no matter what it is. You have like 7 frame drops in one section. They give the game like a negative 18 out of 10. They just fucking complain. And I've dealt with that my whole life. It is what it is. I don't care about those people complaining. I don't care, because everybody's like all over Steam, and it's like, I love Steam, and it is the best platform in gaming. It is. It's not close. But honestly, a lot of people just wanting Steam to take over everything freaks me the fuck out, because Gabe Newell's not going to be there forever. And so when Gabe is gone, when he's on his yacht chilling in the Bahamas in 10 years time, what is Steam going to look like then? Because every time there's new leadership, nothing stays the same. So I want competition across the board. That's just me. I want constant competition.
I'm with you.
So I'm sorry. Like, I get it. Everybody's going to be like blowing Steam from here to Kingdom Come. But I don't do that. I love Steam. I have it. I have a lot of games on Steam. I've had it. I'm one of the first accounts on Steam. I've had it since 2004. But I'm not dumb enough to think like, oh, Gabe's going to be there forever. So yeah, I want Xbox to do better. And I want PlayStation to do better. I want them all to do better. And if Xbox just kind of pushes the PC and that's it, and they let PlayStation kind of rule the console space, they're fucking stupid.
Zocker, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand the play there.
That's the hybrid. That's the whole hybrid approach. Keep these console players. Give these people that want
to migrate
PC performance
to, but you're
in
not
a console form factor
everybody.
with a simplistic UI. Because there's a lot of console people that envy
I know, but as we
PC,
both stated,
but they don't want to go in that environment.
As we both stated, it's probably not going to be at a price point where most console players are going to even migrate to PC. They're probably just going to go to the PS6, like I said. I can just totally see PS6 just dominating all generation.
It's over then.
Because there's no compelling exclusives on this box to sell said box.
They need exclusives.
You need exclusives.
I'll say this because I got to get out of here
to sell.
I got to get out of here. Sorry, FOnz. I'll say this before I leave. I think their best bet, and I think their only shot now, is to do like 6 months windows of exclusivity, where that should help move whatever they need to move, and then they can get money off of other platforms. I think that's the best idea. I think Elder Scrolls 6, try it with Elder Scrolls 6. See how it works
Elder Scrolls 6, but they need to fix Windows and make sure it's set up for their gaming storefront, because a lot of people have issues with it. Anyways, thanks to Madwell for 20.
Is good though. I give it, like, honestly, I give it a good 8.5 out of 10. Full screen experience is pretty good, and like oh my God, what's wrong with me today? But like you guys were saying, it's basically a year and a half out, so they got a year and a half to work on it further. And like I said, it's 8.5 right now. In a year and a half, I think it'll be close to being a 9. It's pretty good. I don't think anyone's going to complain using it. Do any of you guys use it, the full screen experience?
No.
I
None
tinkered
of you
with it,
guys?
but I
No,
tinkered
I'm
with it for sure, but I'm not primarily right now.
I'm a mouse and keyboard guy, brother. Like I'm
Same.
playing mouse and keyboard. Like I that's what I play. People fucking hate me because I can laser them with mouse and keyboard on first person. It's my shit. I've been playing it since I was
And, and plus, like I play a lot of like I have 2 monitors. I like being able to just easily use my mouse to like open something on the second monitor. I like playing old school RuneScape on my second monitor a lot when I'm playing other games. So like, you know, the full screen experience.
Yeah, you
like,
lose.
Jake,
lose.
I fuck
lose
with you,
that.
bro. You're good. Yeah, I like you, Jake. I fuck with you. See, that's a
You lose.
PC guy right there. Do I use the full screen? You fraud ass D. I know you're not a PC guy. I
I
fucking
play-
knew it. I
play
knew
on my-
it.
It's gonna be really cool
I play on
for-
my couch with my lap board, and I use keyboard and mouse often. But there's Xbox games I'm going to use a controller with.
It's
I
going to
just
be good
like
for those
that
home
experience.
those home theater PCs. Like that was something Microsoft wanted to like push in the 2000s, and it's going to be cool for stuff like that, I think. But for like my desktop, I don't know how much I'll actually really use it. I don't use Steam Big Picture mode on my desktop ever.
By the
No,
way,
I never.
I didn't finish this. Madwell, thank you for the 20. He says Zocker is a fetus. That's a new one.
He's reversing.
That's a
that.
new one. I'm actually, you know what, fucker, you got a like for that one. I gave him a little like.
Yeah.
You gotta like the super
Madwell's a
chat.
good guy, man. That guy's so generous. He's freaking amazing.
Get out of here, D fraud.
D-Batch said, I'm gone. I'm
Peace out, man.
I got to change your name now. You turned into D-Batch.
As soon as he leaves, be like, yeah, D, run and hide. I just won that debate.
Yeah, more like D bitch. Fucking ran like a little hoe.
He's a lot of fun to have on here.
Oh, D, D's
that's my
cool.
boy,
We're
dude.
good people. Yeah.
That's my boy, man.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, people hate on him and stuff, but man, he's a good dude.
Here's the thing, like I totally admit to this from like last year around the PS Pro announcement, is I was fucking brutal to D-Batch because he was one of those people that jumped on the PS5 Pro equals 4070 bandwagon, even though it was obvious that it was so obvious that it wasn't. Like even Mark Cerny said, like, oh, up to 45% increased performance, and like we know that the 4070 is way above that. So it was obvious, and I was super fucking mean to him on Twitter. Because like it's text and you're behind a screen and you're not actually talking to someone, and then you get on here and actually talk to them and it's like, wow, this person's actually a lot of fun, and I feel really bad for being a dickhead.
Yeah, I'm an
on
asshole.
Twitter. Yeah, like I admit that I get my like bad social media posts out on my Twitter so that I'm not doing it on like my personal Facebook. So like I'll be a little mean on Twitter, but yeah, like I fully cop up to that. That was
You're a lot mean sometimes, Jake.
Oh,
You're sometimes a freaking just flat out asshole on Twitter, and I'm just like, damn.
Some of these people deserve it.
Yeah. I've stopped arguing with people like that though. I don't
You'll be a lot
resort
better
to
if you
name
just ignore
calling
them,
and
brother.
stuff because I just got tired of it.
I don't get like. Here's the thing. I don't argue with someone on there unless it's just like I don't let if I start to get stressed out, I just close it out. But otherwise, if it's just
Zucker,
a
I
little bit
think Jake has fun doing it. To be honest.
Oh, okay. I'm never on there, so I don't think I've ever interacted with Jake. I might have. I don't know. But I don't know.
Sorry if I said anything mean in the past. I don't think I did, but sorry
Don't
if I
apologize. No. Man up. Say it with your chest. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, your fetus. Yeah.
Your fetus, dude. Say it with your fetus.
Dude. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just unsure of like why they decided to make the Helix if it really wasn't a play to get people to the platform.
Because it's the old regime. That's the point.
It's also because
the
it's
old regime.
It's also sunk cost fallacy, which I know we're watching like a bunch of expensive canceled games, but like the R&D to put any type of like machine together like that is a lot of money, and so it's sunk cost. If they've already done all that R&D, they've already done started the software development for full screen experience. Like they're gonna put this out, but they totally had meetings probably recently. Like, are we really gonna do this? Like, is this really the right move? 100%. They were having meetings all day.
They had those meetings all day, and they were talking about it for. And that's the thing. People think like, oh, if she was gonna change, she changed by now. I'm like, bro, you don't know how hard it is to do an organizational change, like a complete change in strategy across your organization. It takes a long time,
especially in hardware like this. Like
not even just hardware. Imagine the software developers, because like that's the number one thing that hurts a software developer is if you just cut whatever they've worked on for the last 8 months or like the last year. You're like, actually, you're doing something different. kills morale. They're like, you know what? I wanted to see this come out because I've been working on it, and now it's not. I'm checked out. I need a break. Like that's literally what would happen. Like
Yeah.
it just is what it is. That's the worst thing you could do as a software engineer is just basically completely confuse them and then make them work on things and then months later be like, no, I don't like that, or you got to do this, or we're completely changing. I think they're getting a feel of what everybody likes and what everybody's trying to do. And she said, we're going to use data to make these decisions. And if to me, the best people that see data very well is PlayStation, because they were like, PC's not selling very well for us. We're fucking off with this. It's hurting our brand. We're going to stick to what we know and what we do well because we're trying to protect this because it's our most profitable. If they see that data, I don't know how Xbox is not going to see that data.
Well, we talked about this earlier in the show before you got on, but like my main argument was the reason why they decided to pull back from the PC ports was, well, the games weren't getting a ton of interest on PC because PC gamers have no shortage of games to play. And when you have a game that is like multiple years late and honestly usually not releasing in the greatest technical state, I mean, Sony's had a couple of good ports, but most of them have been pretty disappointing. So you have a late game that's a bad port. People are just like Spider-Man 2. People are just not going to flock to it. So they weren't making a ton of revenue as a percentage compared to the PS5 software sales. And then they started, because there's corporate espionage everywhere, they started getting word that like Microsoft was going to be announcing soon. There's no coincidence that like the rumors about this popped up around the time of the Helix announcement. That Microsoft was going to
I don't think it's that. I don't think
Microsoft is going to be putting. It's not just the Helix, but like it was a combination.
I think it's the Steam machine.
It's the Steam machine.
Yeah.
It's the Steam machine and the Helix. It's both. But like the point is now we're going to have multiple living room TV boxes that there's going to be headlines all over the place. Like, look, you don't have to buy a PlayStation to play God of War. Here's an Xbox playing it, or here's a Steam machine playing it.
Exactly.
They're like, okay, we're making like 1% of our revenue on PC with our single player first party games. It's not worth those headlines. Just let's cut our losses. Multiplayer games, it's fine.
I also think that they don't know how to cater. Like, so I'm going to say something controversial and people are going to get fucking pissed off at me and I don't give a fuck.
Go for it.
I think that a lot of people that are like, there's an argument. FOnz has talked about this. A lot of people have that they feel that Game Pass, go with me on this one, that Game Pass has really hurt sales on Xbox, that it conditioned people to not buy games.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also think that the Steam sales have conditioned people to not buy games until they go on sale. And that means
100%.
Steam sale.
That happens too.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So that's what I think. And I think Sony, if you look at their sales for their game, it's like 20%. So it's going from like 70 or 60, whatever the fuck it is, to like $44. And people are like, nah, I'm going to wait till it gets to 30 or 25.
Yep.
And so
I'm one of those guys
Sony-
who said that about Sony games on PC.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not cheap enough yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. And everybody, I think Sony, because when you put a game on sale on Sony's platform or their first party, it doesn't go for a lot. It goes for about where that Steam sale was, but people buy it because console gamers are like, this is what a console sale looks like, and they buy it.
Well, they also looked at Nintendo, who barely or basically never discounts their games, and
If
it's
anything,
like,
they
well,
put it up more.
yeah, they're like, well, Nintendo just sold, like, you know, we saw the headlines that like Sony sold 5 million copies of God of War Ragnarok in a week, and then Nintendo releases Tears of the Kingdom and sells 10 million in 3 days. You know, in Mario Kart, even Animal Crossing has sold like 60 million units, and that's never been discounted, like other than clearance sales, you know, below $60. So they looked at Nintendo and are like, we want to be that. That's what we want with our first party.
Game Pass has definitely been a disruptor, as they once stated, but in a bad way, to the point where I feel, it's my opinion, that it's just hurt the industry overall. And the way I see it now is it's created a bunch of entitled gamers who are constantly saying, I'll wait for that game to come to Game Pass. You see that a lot.
I was doing that when I was subbed to
Oh,
Game Pass
I was
before,
doing it too.
before they
Yeah.
hiked the price to oblivion. Like that was me. I was like,
Yeah, so
I'm
then-
not gonna wait for this to be on Game Pass.
I'm not gonna lie, I was playing a lot of games on there. Like I
And then
remember the
here's the
first
thing,
year I had
but-
it, I beat like 60 games on Game
Okay,
Pass.
but you are the exception, because
I
I've
don't know,
been
I am.
showing you some real statistics out of Game Pass, because all your stuff is recorded. Your data within Game Pass, your achievements, all that stuff is recorded.
It shows the percentage
Xbox
of
does
players that have completed this
So-
achievement.
So,
Yep.
you know, some eye-opening things I've seen lately it's also created a bunch of gamers who have like ADHD and they don't ever complete anything. They just start games and play 1 to 2 hours, stop, go to the next thing, play 1 to 2 hours, go to the next thing. That's what's happening with Game Pass. I looked at it today and so the stat was that the average Game Pass user on Xbox plays roughly 20 games a year. The average. Out of those 20 games, 80% of the average gamer stops playing those games within a couple hours.
Yep.
80%.
Me and Hargeet are the fucking exception.
Insane. So that doesn't mean all of you. Some of you beat your games and stuff. I get it. But the average, out of the 30 million people that are playing it, the average is 20 games. And a lot of people, 80%, aren't beating the games.
And that's not even hard to find because, like, you can just go to the
No, you can just use AI and just ask them.
Not even
it gets
AI,
all the information for you.
You don't even need to do that. You can literally go on the game on your Xbox or on PC and look at the achievement for like when you beat the game, and then it tells you the percentage of people that have gotten that achievement, and like find a game that's like major game.
You'll see a diamond come up if it's like less than like I think it's like 4% or like 7% of people.
Dude, I saw those for like achievements 3 hours into some Game Pass games. Like the diamond would come up, and I'm not talking like a new release because obviously like some achievements will be rare, but a game that's been out for a couple of years, been on Game Pass the whole time. I booted up and like an achievement that you can get 5 hours into the game as a diamond. I'm like, what? Like that's
and I get there's so much to play and there's a large variety of games there. So again, it's it's become basically a demo service for a lot of people. They just try games constantly. And I get it. Like you'll find the one, a couple of games there that you like and you'll end up playing through it. But if you look at the stats, when you actually buy the game, you're more likely to beat it, get through that game because you spent that much money on it rather than
especially if you buy it at full price and not on sale.
Exactly.
Like that's an equivalent to that, or like you said, PC gamers that buy a bunch of games for cheap on Steam sales, they're not going to have that incentive in their brain. Like, wow, I just spent $60 on this.
I've even done that. I bought these games for like $2.
I have a huge backlog on Steam.
Exactly.
So I have a huge backlog on Steam also. The problem with the thing that I actually when I was beating the most games, I was beating new releases on Xbox Game Pass when I had it, and then I was going through my backlog on Steam at the same time. So like when I beat a game on Xbox, I was like, cool, moving on to my backlog on Steam, or going to play a game on PlayStation, depending on what it is, right? Right now, I'm not subscribed to Game Pass, and I haven't been for a long time, for about a year now.
Nope, ever since those price hikes for me.
Ever since actually, it's been longer than that for me. But it's like I knew the price hikes were coming in my head, but also there just wasn't games on there that I wanted to really play. But right now, when I look at Game Pass, I'm like, God damn, there are games on there that I want to play. And I go look at them on Steam, and there are a lot of there. It's like I'm spending $200 if I buy those games.
Yeah, for sure. Mr. Little Evil says at least the devs get paid on Game Pass, right? And yeah, that's true. But my argument for against Game Pass really is when they talk about the MAUs and they talk about people that we have 6 million players in Game Pass playing our game and they're all excited. And then you come to find out 70% turned it off before Act 1 finished. And you're just like, they're kind of disingenuous.
People forget that like both console manufacturers, but also publishers and developers, they want sales, but they also heavily compete for your time and hours. So acting like people that act like it doesn't matter that it's a low completion rate for a lot of these Game Pass games, they're just completely missing the mark because the fucking board members at these companies definitely care about the engagement and the amount of time people are putting in.
Of course they care. These devs.
You know what the argument is, though? You know what the argument is, though? Board members like, well, why aren't they beating the game? Because no board members asking that. Or why aren't they on the game longer? Yeah. They're going to be like, oh, but they played it. And they're going to be like, okay, but why? No. If they played it, that means they're a paying customer.
They paid $30. Exactly. That's all they care about. Yes. And
that's it. Like, I mean, there's a couple games on there that, like, and I'll be honest with you, the people that are I forgot who said this, but whoever is the person choosing the third-party games for Xbox and Game Pass, promote that fucking guy, because
Yeah.
Expedition 33, even though I don't like that
Yep,
game and it's
yep,
boring
yep.
as shit,
I loved it. I thought
I
it
know
was
a lot of
great.
people did. Ninja Gaiden 4 looks actually fucking dope. I don't care what anybody says. I like games like that. Hack and slash.
By
and
the way,
gory and bloody.
Expedition 33 was game of the year, and most Game Pass gamers that tried it did not even get past Act 1. Most. It's like a really high number.
Hey,
They
you know
just
what?
didn't wanna
One
play
of
it.
those people, because I played it for 2
And you were
hours
one
and
of 'em.
literally was
Exactly.
like, I fucking can't right now with these French people and flowers. I don't care.
But hey, that helped, they paid the devs. So, I mean,
I can give you an exact
that.
reason why the timing, like how much time people spend on a game, it does matter. And again, shareholders don't give two fucks about this. They're going to do what you said, where it's like, oh, people bought it, they're a paying customer. But
Yeah, I was
like,
talking more shareholders.
But like a private company that isn't beholden to shareholders cares about, hours spent on a game, because a gamer that finishes a game all the way to the end is way more likely to buy a sequel or another game made by the developer publisher than they are than if they just played like for an hour and then put the game down. Like it's we saw this metric kind of with, again, talk about Epic Games Store all you want, but like a lot of those early third-party timed exclusives they did, the developers themselves and publishers got paid for the lost sales and then some. Like if they got paid that sales difference because it wasn't on Steam, so they made that money guaranteed up front. But the problem is, a lot of those games, they did not do another Epic exclusive deal, or some of them didn't even go back to Epic in the first place, because yeah, they made their money there, but there is way, way, way fewer people now that are going to care about a sequel, or especially if it's like an online game and they're not going to have as much of a population, even though they made the same amount of initial revenue.
The only game I think cares about that, to me, the only ones that care about it is the ones that have microtransactions and are online. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying by that, like, oh, we want people to play it to get a sequel. To me, the number one thing they care about is even being able to make a sequel. And
but
so that means
the microtransaction thing doesn't apply to a lot of the games that go into Game Pass, though, especially a lot of single player.
Like I'm playing Trails Beyond the Horizon right now, and like that series has been struggling a bit in recent years. And then they released a remake of the first game in the whole franchise, and that sold like literally orders of magnitude more than any of the most recent ones, because people see that there's like 6,000 games you have to play to get to the most recent one. Oh, now there's an accessible entry point to the beginning of the series now. So, like, a series can lose attention span over time if there's fewer and fewer people that are interested in buying a sequel. And you're just more likely to get those people buying a sequel if they play a game to completion. Like, are you going to buy a sequel if you play 3 hours of a game and put it down? You're not going to do that. So, and again, shareholders don't give a fuck. The companies generally are happy with any number of initial sales, but private companies do care about that, because they want their future games to succeed too. And if it's a sequel, that sequel's dead in the water if people didn't play it to completion.
How is Trails Beyond the Horizon similar? Because this is what Steam's recommending me. How is it similar to Black Myth Wukong in any way, shape, or form?
They see Asian game with Chinese inspiration and they think it's the same.
Because first things first, when I looked it up to be like, because I like hearing about new games, right? And if I've never heard of this game, so I'm like, I'm gonna look it up, see if it's something that might interest me. And it's not going to, because to me it looks like shit. Because I don't like that art style, and it doesn't jive with me.
It's the JRPG fans JRPG series. If you don't like that stuff, then stay away from it.
That's exactly. So that's what I got from it. And then I saw if you like this Black Myth, because I have like
not even remotely the same.
Dude, exactly. That's what I was like, the fuck?
So I'll pitch Trails to people who really, really liked PS1 era Final Fantasy games and wish that there were more games that were still like that. Obviously the series has evolved since then, obviously, but the core gameplay loop is like a modernized, streamlined version of like PS1 era Final Fantasy. So if you really like those, go ahead and like try the demo for the Trails in the Sky remake, and you might be surprised.
By the way, sir, you said EA said like 10 years ago, microtransactions in their games make more money than any game they've sold. Yeah, every company's like that. Sony, Microsoft, they all make the most money out of microtransactions.
Does everybody know?
All of them.
I mean, the best example you could ever give of this is that in World of Warcraft, the mount came out, and that mount, when they put it out there, for I think it was like $15 or $20, made more money than all of StarCraft 2 did combined.
Damn.
It made, and StarCraft 2 dev said that, like, how do you compete with that? And StarCraft 2, which is one of the most profitable RTSs ever, and it's still that one mount made more money than all of StarCraft 2.
And people
And
wonder why
StarCraft is-
people wonder why retail WoW is the way it is now. I can talk MMOs all day. I know that's not something.
Oh, me
like,
too,
this
brother.
supposedly
What's
about.
up?
But like, there's a reason why retail WoW is the way it is, and also why totally not something we talk about on the show. But I think Classic Plus, which is like WoW Classic but with original new content, I think it's gonna fail miserably. Blizzard's either gonna do more retail-y stuff because
fucked
they want
up
that
after SOD. They
want
SOD.
that. Yeah, they fucked up SOD. They want that microtransaction money, so they're either they're gonna do that, or they're gonna take like the wrong lessons. I don't think they're gonna look at old school RuneScape at all, even though that's the model they should be following, for like a Classic Plus kind of thing, because that's what old school is. It's the 2007 game that's had an independent development cycle since 2013, and it's thriving. It is doing better than ever right now. They're going to take the wrong lessons from that because they see the retail money and they're a company beholden to shareholders. So if they don't do that, then they're going to, like, Classic itself is just going to kind of fall flat because the player base doesn't really know what they want. Sorry, soapbox. That's just
No, it's
my
all
prediction.
good. I got you. Hey, you and I could talk. You and I could talk WoW or MMOs all day, buddy.
But no, you're right. But you're right. Like that whole thing about the mount, like it kind of reminds me of the horse skin from Oblivion. Like the writing was on the wall. Like as soon as the money started coming in from that, like it was over.
Yeah, I stopped at Lich King. That's when I stopped WoW.
I'm playing Midnight right now. Survey 628. He said, or 6028. He said, okay, so how do you think Game Pass is bad? People might not buy the games, but they spend their money within the games. So do you want to know how Game Pass is bad? There is a skit by Mighty Keef that I don't care what anybody says was the funniest shit I've ever seen. And there was a point where this whole emulation and back compat thing, for 5 years, a lot of people have not been building a library in Xbox because of Game Pass. They have the Game Pass library, and when they unsub, they realize, oh, I don't have any games on Xbox because I haven't bought any games because it was all on Game Pass. So right there, they have no allegiance or no tie to the console or the Xbox platform, and they are free to leave because they're going to look at the games that they do own, and they're like 2018 games that you can get for $7 right now on Steam.
That's why I look at the situation when people complain about, well, I need to stay with the Xbox. I have my library there. And it's like, dog, you haven't built a library in the last decade.
That's the reason why they made Game Pass in the first place.
What are you doing?
Dude, they were open. Microsoft and Phil Spencer were open about this, that this is why they did Game Pass in the first place, is because they lost the 8th gen, which was like the start of, the people's digital libraries really being built up. Like, yeah, there were digital games on 360 and PS3, but there's no continuity and compatibility from then. And Microsoft and Sony both knew at the time that like they chose those PC architectures for a reason. Like they wanted to continue things into the future. And Microsoft is like, fuck, Sony's handing us our asses right now. People are building their digital libraries there. Same reason, by the way, that Epic Games gives out free games on PC is because like they need people to just have access to games quickly, so that they don't feel like they're leaving their libraries behind if they stick with that service. So that can be an easy way to get people in, but just like how if you are a YouTuber that gains 1 million subscribers in a year, you oftentimes have a pretty bad fall off in viewership very quickly after that. Just like with that, if you have people easily building a library like that, they just as easily can leave. There's no such thing as a free lunch. There's no perfect solution.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like everybody's like that. I know some people had Game Pass and still bought games. There's a exceptional few that have done that, but there is a shit ton of people. And I would say the average Joe,
like me,
did not
I didn't buy any
buy
game that was in Game Pass. I just rented my games.
I own Liza P on PC on Steam, not on Xbox, and it was on Game Pass. I own it on there because it was like there was a sale and I just bought it on there because I built the library there, even though it was day and date on Game Pass. Like, I don't know. I think
you guys will see, you Xbox hardcore gamers that will buy the Helix, you're going to see those Steam sales, and you guys are going to do a lot probably of like we did. You just
Steam sale. Hey, I'm going to
say
this right now.
You see games for $2 that you loved back in the day, and you're like, or you haven't even played yet, and you're like, okay, I'm putting that to my backlog, and you just freaking go on a spree.
Like, wow, I never played Prototype back in the day. Wow, $1.99, sweet.
Yeah,
What were you gonna say?
Can I
What were
just
you gonna
say
say,
though,
Zonker?
Steam has been pissing me off with these sales the last like year and a half, 2 years. Their sales are nowhere near as good as it used to be. They used to have this system where it would be like, which game do you want on a deep discount? And the Steam community voted on it. And it would come up, it would be every 10 hours. And you would be able to like vote on 3 games. And when you got it, it was like 90% off on the whichever game got voted.
Dang.
They stopped
so-
doing that years ago.
Yeah, they stopped doing that a while ago, but like
that sounds
that
cool.
used to be fucking awesome because then you're like, okay, I want this game, and you're seeing where the trend goes. Do I want the other game, or you want all 3 of them, and it doesn't matter. All of this shit, like they used to have such good sales, and right now, to me, this is just me, they're okay. Right now, they used to be a lot better.
Honestly, like what I don't even browse. I do this. I buy digitally on PlayStation and on Steam. Obviously, the only system I still buy physically for is Switch 2, but like a lot of those are key cards, unfortunately. So that's the whole thing's kind of moving away in usefulness. But the point is, like on those digital storefronts, I don't really browse. Like when a sale's happening, I don't browse the store anymore because there's just so many freaking games. I just add games to my wish list all year, and then when there's sales, I've
been doing that.
I just scroll through my wish list and see what's on sale on there. I buy plenty of games day one, but like again, I have like hundreds upon hundreds of games on Steam. I don't like. There's not many games I need to really buy day one because I have no shortage of stuff to play. And that's, by the way, that's a curse. Another curse of like people building libraries is they're not going to buy as many games day one because they don't need to necessarily unless it's like something really major. But that's my way of doing sales now. And
I never buy day one unless it's something that I know is going to be good. Like to me, I know people are going to laugh at me, but when I buy World of Warcraft's expansion, I know it's going to be good when I start it. I'm going to be able to play with my friends. We're going to be able to do what we know. When I buy Diablo's expansion, I know what I'm going to be able to do. When it's a single player game that comes out, I never buy day one anymore because I don't know if it's going to be a piece of shit that just is a terrible port or optimized horribly. And to me, it's conditioned. I've been conditioned to not buy day and date anymore. Not because of Game Pass, because of developers releasing shitty games. Like Cyberpunk came out really bad. A lot of games have come out really bad where you're just like, what do we do? Even Spider-Man 2 on PC, I was like 100% buying it. Nope, not doing it now.
Dude, Spider-Man 2 on PS5 to this day still is riddled with bugs. People get mad when I say like Insomniac games release with bugs, and they get mad when I point them out. But like, you know, the PS5 has that great capture feature where it's always recording, and if you get like a bug, you can just press the share button and save the last 2 minutes. I have pages upon pages of recordings of like being soft locked or falling through the floor or, you know, characters vibrating all over the screen in Spider-Man 2 on PS5. And I played it on PS5 Pro at launch, so that was like a year after the PS5 version.
How do you like your Pro, by the way, if you don't mind me asking? Sorry to cut you off.
It's so the way I look at it now, again, I'm a heavy PC gamer, so like take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. I have a bias, but the way I look at it is, like, if you're a PC gamer, all that thing is it's basically an RX 6800 with like slightly below 9060 XT ray tracing, and well, I guess now with PSSR2 you get a really good like image quality.
I was gonna say PSSR2 is looking actually like it's doing pretty damn good.
Well, I've been using FSR4 for a year. I bought this 9070 XT right at launch, and it's fantastic. And I have a laptop with a 4070, so like I know what DLSS4 and 4.5 looks like. And yeah, like DLSS4 is like obviously objectively better, but like when you're actually playing, it's very, very similar. So if you're getting that on a PS5 Pro, that's great. But here's my problem. If you're like a major enthusiast gamer, you're probably already on PC and you've got your library on PC, and if PC gamers already weren't flocking to buy PlayStation first party games on PC, are they really going to flock to buy a console to buy those games that they were already not flocking to buy? Like, that's the argument I've been making on Twitter. So if you're a PC
I don't
gamer,
think any PC gamer is going to ever go to PlayStation. I have everything.
If you're
I have an Xbox, I have a PS5, I have everything.
If you're a PC gamer, if you're a PC gamer, it's not that compelling because of that. If you're an average Joe casual, then, you know, the base PS, who knows what pricing is going to be like this year with like parts and stuff, but generally base PS5 has been going on sale for like $350, $379. Like, are you really going to want to pay double the price for something that, like, the average casual's not going to notice from their TV distance? Like, the amount of times I've shown my wife, like, I'll just see, like, hey, do you notice this? And I'll switch between, like, FSR2 and FSR4. And, like, she won't notice anything, even if I'm mentioning, like, look at the fizzle right here, look at this. And she's like, I don't see anything. And she's an artist, like, she paints, so she's very visually in tune. So, like, the average Joe, it's not compelling because it's double the price, basically, for like stuff that they're mostly not going to notice, at least not right now. But objectively, as a piece of hardware, and now with like PSSR2, if that system override toggle works well, doesn't have bugs, and just makes all those games look as good as FSR4, basically, it's objectively pretty good. And I would definitely choose it over like a 2 terabyte Series X that costs the same. That's for sure.
100%. Yeah, I mean, one of the main reasons why I'm debating on one. I like getting every new tech anyways, but I just didn't get one for a while because there's nothing on there that I was like, eh. But I haven't played Demon Souls yet. I haven't played. I want to play Sorrows. Wolverine is one of my most, if not my most anticipated game this year. So that's 3 games already. I think Ghost of Yote. So there's 4 games there that I would play.
I could talk about Ghost of Yote. I played Tsushima around launch, and the way I felt about that game is the writing was extremely good, but I felt that gameplay-wise, it was just very similar to a Ubisoft game, kind of bloated, very repetitive. Yote, in my opinion, fixes those problems. It is not as well written, and you're just not beating Koten Khan as far as a lead villain. He's one of the best main villains I've ever seen in a video game, and Lord Saito is just not up to par on that. But the writing's still generally good. And the map is designed so much more intelligently this time that, like, it's like Breath of the Wild where, like, you constantly are seeing things that you want to go check out. You're not, it's not just like a bloated kind of peppered with icons overworld like Assassin's Creed Shadows, for example. And it doesn't have that stupid RPG system that Assassin's Creed Shadows has, that stupid worthless leveling system. Like, you're upgrading your weapons and stuff, but, like, none of that stuff. Enemies aren't damage sponges. The story probably takes half the amount of time to complete as Assassin's Creed Shadows. So between those 2 games, like, because again, they're 2 very conceptually similar games that released in 2025. I would pick Yote any day of the week over Shadows easily.
Look at that.
It's my thank you for the Yote stuff, but that's my brother Hargy. What up, brother?
How's it going?
You missed a good show so far, man. This was heated.
Well, he was doing
D-Batch left, bro, because I made him cry. You should have seen
Booms.
it. Ooh. No, I'm joking.
I'll have to go back and watch.
Your mic sounds really low, Hargy. It's like you're coming from a different mic almost.
I'll have to watch or listen to whatever cast Hargeet was just on, because I'm sure that conversation was good.
Yeah,
he was on Boomstick's show on Wednesdays.
Boomsticks?
Yeah, I didn't do the show yesterday because we had potential news today. So I was like, I'll just do it tomorrow. And I don't like taking Hargeet from Boom, because Boom has been there with, he's been with Boom since, way before he's been my co-host. So I was just like, okay, I'll just find some people to do a show. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, got it. All right, perfect. All right.
But yeah, he's here now. Hargeet has joined us, everybody.
He just sounds really low to me for some reason. Well, maybe
a little low.
Yeah, you sound like a little low.
Pull the game. No, the microphone volume is all the way up top.
I'll turn him up. Hold
on. I'll do this. How about now? Any better?
It's the same.
No, same.
Same? Okay.
Mine's fine. I can hear you, but you're definitely quieter than FOnz and Zalker, but like it's clear for me, but who knows how it'll sound on YouTube.
I'm a loud bitch, but
it sounds loud to me. Talk,
okay.
Hargeet.
It might be FOnz's side.
Hello.
Yeah, I think it's FOnz's
Yeah, I
side.
turned him up.
Yeah.
Well, if it sounds good on YouTube, that's all that matters, 100%. I think. Yeah, as long as it sounds good on YouTube.
If it sounds good on YouTube, let us know, everybody.
Yeah, let us know
right.
if Hargeet is a beautiful, beautiful man with a great voice.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
We already know that.
Son bitch. He's a sexy.
We already know that. We don't need mic volume to know that.
He's making me blush, dude.
No. So what say you about? You know what, Hargeet? What say you about the news today? What
yeah, I want to hear your spiel.
Okay, so pretty good so far. I mean, but look, I wasn't expecting too much. This is more focused on development, right? It's not the consumer facing. Here's what we're releasing. So we got much more about how the development environment's going to work. There's enough hints about being a platform for Xbox as well as PC, which again they haven't really kind of told us how that's going to look when it comes out. There's some cool things about, hey, the full screen experience, now called Xbox mode, is going to be available next month. Cool, that'll be in production for general Windows users. Nice. The development environment's now changing to be one sort of development environment for both Windows and Xbox. Cool. Play Anywhere is kind of expanding. That's great. Backwards compatibilities given, it's going to be there. Cool. I don't know what else did he have there. I'm trying to remember all the little things they had. But I mean, overall, like, so there also was Xbox era. Well, what are they called now? They actually have a video up of the
Day
whole,
one.
the whole,
Day one.
yeah, day one. They have a video of the whole keynote that sort of Jason had. It had a lot of just like basically like where they've come from, where they're going, kind of stuff. But it's not very specific yet. There'll be more information coming. Oh, the dev kits are going to be available early next year. So that's kind of there as well. So probably pretty much next year fall timeframe we're going to probably get this new box. No idea on the specs yet because, well, they're not really ready to announce the box yet. So
No.
I'm skeptical about that like 5080 performance claim, by the way, that D-Batch said. I don't think it's going to be that. Just like how people said PS5 Pro is going to be a 4070 performer. I don't think it's going to be that.
There's always a little bit of exaggeration,
right? It's 50-ish T-flops is kind of where it's going to be.
We don't know yet until we see actual performance.
And do we even have an RDNA 5 card yet? I don't even know if it's out yet. Is it?
Nope, it's not.
So we don't even know what that means because it's vaporware at this point. So until we see what RDNA 5 can do, we just don't know, right? So you just gotta let it come out, which is it's always the folly of like making exact claims of, and it's very hard to say NVIDIA this equals AMD that. It's just not the same, and you just have to wait until it comes out and then figure out what it actually means, what it's actually going to be capable of doing. These are also custom SoCs. They have custom capabilities for certain things. They're certainly focusing on the path tracing, ray tracing capabilities, right? The rest of it may be standard. I don't know. They also announced FSR Diamond, which will be the FSR capabilities for this specific platform. Cool. Again,
I don't think
get
for
a
that
lot out of
specific
that?
platform.
No.
I think it's for RDNA 5 and up, like because the Redstone is like the features that work on 4, and then Diamond is for like 5 and up because they didn't plan that as smartly as NVIDIA did, who is like making most of their stuff work on like 2018 cards.
Yeah. So again, this is just kind of how it's being put out there, but it's little bits of information. We will get more over time, right? DirectX is tomorrow, I think, right? We haven't gone over that yet, I don't think. So we'll get more information about that. But yeah, I mean, overall, cool. It's good stuff. We'll see what it really means when we get more information about the actual hardware.
I really wish Hargeet was here for that debate earlier. I am so sad.
What debate? What debate?
The specifically the part where Zocker and D-Batch were really going at it about like, is there the potential that Xbox could go back to like a traditional console exclusive model, or are they truly like just going balls to the wall on PC Steam competitor? What's the best long-term move? That's vastly oversimplifying.
You had a fucking Jake. You had a smile on your face when I was asking him questions. You were like, "That's a good fucking question."
Yeah. Well,
honestly, like I agreed with both of you guys, and I had my point. Like I had my argument.
Yeah.
As far as like whether they go exclusive or not, that is really a question of what do they want to do. So Microsoft has to figure out if to make the brand work with the customer base, is that going to be a requirement or not, right? So for me, my requirement is I want a lot of games and I like Game Pass. But I don't know how many players in general fit that category. I assume it's not a lot. The vast majority of gamers buy very few games. In fact, the vast majority of gamers don't buy any games. They play freaking free-to-play games. That's just the way the world is. So if you're going to look at what the market is, it's basically they bought the games that matter. Call of Duty, Minecraft. They could buy a couple more and they have the games that everybody plays. That's it. That's the market, right? Then there's the little niche that is all these other games that everybody like talks about, but outside of GTA, right? So that's pretty much it, right? Like, you know, if you're looking at Mario and Zelda, they sell copies. Everything else is shit. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't sell. You know, oh my God, God of War sold 13 million copies. Compare that to fucking Mario Kart that sold fucking 60 million copies. It's a joke. It's like
Closer
whatever.
to 80, I
And that's
think.
the best thing that PlayStation has, right? You look at everything else they sell, it's garbage. It's like you know, this is just the
Damn,
world it is.
hater.
I'm not. I'm talking about across all platforms. It is what it is,
Yeah.
right? This is just the world we're in. Very few. Hogwarts Legacy is like a massive success, right? And that was 30 million-ish copies, and then that's like an anomaly. It's an anomaly. How many other games do that? It's just not the way it is. The vast majority of games are basically you're playing Fortnite, you're playing COD, you're playing, you know.
I mean,
Apex.
Overwatch sold 60 million.
Yeah, again, one of those big freaking multiplayer games. That's one of those black hole games. That's the thing. Those
And
are the
even
games
with that, they still move to free to play.
Okay, but let me ask you this, Hargeet. What is the play with this new platform? Like, why are they pushing it if they know they're really not going to sell much? Like, what's the end goal you think for them? Well, what do you think their end goal is for this console? Because a lot of people are saying this is their last hurrah, and it's like, well, they're not competing. So what is this console? Who is it for?
Any gamer who wants to play. It's just up to you. Do you want it or not? What's the point of a Steam machine?
Thank you. I literally just fucking said, I'm going to lose my shit. I'm going to fucking lose it. That's what I was telling D-Batch. I was like, what's the point of it? Because they want to sell it. Because they want to go into a different market, do something different. And yeah, exactly. So it's like, D-Batch was like, no, they just want to go to PC with this. I'm like, no, D-Batch, they are trying to hit something. They have a target. Fuck me. This is why you're my fucking boy, dude. Right here. I'm pounding my chest with my homie right now. And I'm so mad that my camera does not fucking detect right now. I'm going to throw my shit out the window soon.
But didn't you also say, though, they have exclusives as well?
No, yeah, I did. Steam does have exclusives. It's called Dota 2 and Counter-Strike. That's the exclusives. Yep. If they don't matter, then those would be everywhere, but they don't. Because there was a rumor back in the day, in the 360 day, in the Xbox One, that Counter-Strike 2 or CSGO was going to come to console. There was a big rumor, and then they said
CSGO was on Xbox 360, and Team Fortress 2 also, by the way, and they both
Team Fortress 2 because of the orange block, and they both failed.
Yeah.
Failed.
And then they were like, never mind, it's on Steam, and that still gets over 1 million people playing it a day.
Yeah.
So Counter-Strike 2 and Dota 2 combined has more players than Fortnite, like worldwide.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just looking at it like, you know, if you only, I mean, let's be conservative, maybe 10 million units are sold. And I know that's still profit for them, but why even do the R&D, put a console out there if their play is ultimately just to push everybody to PC? Because that's what it seems like, or that's at least what D.
That's
says.
what D was saying, is that they're all pushing it. And I'm like, I don't think that's it.
So,
D.
No,
what's
that's
the
not
play?
it.
I'm confused. I don't know the
If you're
play.
a console player, right? It's a good console. That's it. It's up to you if you want to play on a console. You have an option as a console. That's it.
So I think
And
that
it's
like
really
I
up
want
to you as a player if you want it.
I want to make the Steam Deck comparison because I think this might be a little compelling, but I also don't know. I don't know how much Microsoft's going to be able to capture this. But what Valve made the Steam Deck because they wanted an increased adoption of SteamOS, and they felt that the best way to do that, it's because they wanted to break Microsoft Windows like gaming monopoly. They felt the best way to do that is to make a really compelling, well-priced PC handheld that blows away all the other PC handhelds and is like a quarter the price, because that'll get people interested in the hardware, and then as a side effect, they'll be using the software, and that'll increase the Linux adoption, and it's worked. So Microsoft might be looking at it like, okay, let's make a very well-priced, compelling TV box to try to increase adoption of like Windows gaming. Will they be able to pull that off the way Valve did? I mean, here's the thing: the Steam Deck did not sell compared to even like the Vita. I think is like at half the number of units because they only sell on Steam. They don't sell in stores. They don't sell on Amazon, at least not in the US. So it's going to always have that niche market. And Valve doesn't care about the same number of users as like Microsoft would. Is Microsoft looking at that same kind of thing, like compelling box, good price to get people to buy it, to flock to
Yeah,
like this
that's
software?
exactly what I asked D. Is spec and pricing enough to sell this thing to more people?
Maybe like 10 million units, like you said, but if it's got high expensive specs and it's 1,000 plus, yeah, there's going to be. I actually think, and I've made the bet that, like, you know, we saw how long the cross-gen period was between like PS4 and PS5. I think that the PS5 cross-gen is going to be the entire PS6 generation. That's going to be
Very likely.
like that's going to be their
Yep.
entry level cheaper console, because like you know, chips aren't getting cheaper than they used to. Consoles aren't going down in price over time. They're going to need that like entry level model. And I think PS5 is going to stick around and just be there the entire generation. And at the very least, even if it's not, games are still going to be made for it pretty much the entire generation. The PS4 cross-gen period like lasted as long as it did, despite the dog water CPU in those consoles. The Zen 2 in the PS5 is like nowhere near modern PC CPUs, but it's pretty good. It's way better than the Jaguars that were in the PS4. So, like, that cross-gen period is just going to last the entire generation.
Yeah, I would say the same for the series consoles. I don't think they're going anywhere. Part of their development process, they're saying that they'll still be able to be targeted, right? So I think it's the same thing. But look, I don't know what the like. First, we need to know what the cost is, right? We don't even know, and all the specs are rumors until they actually
Yes.
substantiate them, right? So they could decide, hey, and we don't even know if Asha comes in and says, nope, it's got to be under $600. So go ahead and change the freaking thing and make it so it's $600. I have no
Yeah,
idea, right?
we have no idea. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So, you know, and everything comes down to what they mean by, you know, make the console relevant again, right? They're trying to shift everything, right? So the original
hmm
plan was something that's high end. Maybe they're like, no, we need to be competitive with our competitor, which is PlayStation, and go figure out how to make it like $700, whatever. I don't know what it's going to be, right? Because I think PS6 is also going to be expensive. Because like if you look at the specs of that thing, again, all leaked rumors. We don't know if they're substantially correct or not, right? It's also going to be pretty expensive. So what do you do with that, right? Do you say, look, the market's gonna just take that? Maybe the market may not take it at all and say, like, no, I need it to be under $500. And so both of them need to figure out how to go back to square one and figure out how to make that happen, right? So we have no idea until they actually tell us, and that's gonna be like mid next year. We're not gonna know for a while.
Mm.
So
I expect us
uh,
not to know until I think there's going to be a lot of testing points that they're doing. This is what I said, Hargeet. I think them bringing out the full screen in April is a test, like a data point to be like,
Yeah,
are people actually using this?
That's
Do
what I
they
was
like it?
asking. Yeah.
What's happening with it? What are we seeing? What can we fix? And is it worth us investing in this even more? I think that's a data point. I think Forza or whatever game coming to PlayStation is another data point. Is it worth us putting our games on there, or even day and date, or do we pull back? I think we're going to find out a lot during
Forza
the
is not
June.
day and date, correct?
No, Forza's not. I'm saying, like, I think they're going to try to get some data points. Like you were saying, it's going to be like a year before, or like 6 months, 8 months, because it takes a long time to make an organizational change like that, especially a huge organization that has thousands of employees. So I think they're going to take their time with this. She's going to look at data. She's going to figure shit out. And then there's going to be decisions, to me at least, I think late this year. I think there's going to be some really big decisions coming in like October, November, December, because then they can make the decisions, and then everybody gets a holiday break because they know what's next, and then they regroup after that and then come ready to go next year. That's my thought. That's usually what happens.
I think we'll start to see some big things, some shifts happening in after the June showcase, if there is a showcase.
There
but we'll
should be a
start to see
showcase.
stuff, and then I think, who knows, maybe they unveil this thing at the Keeleys again, just like they did with the Series
could.
X.
Or a 25th
Enough people watch
celebration.
Summer Game Fest. Like Summer Game Fest and Game Awards get a crap load of live viewers, so it's a way.
But again, we.
I'd rather them show it at
weren't
their
gonna get-
show, honestly.
I agree. I would rather they do that, but
Yeah, I know, but
can you please like make your show up? Like, dude, I miss those days where it was like Sony and Xbox were showing their shit. It was like almost show versus
good stuff.
competition, man. It feels like everybody walked away from the competition, and Sony was the first one to walk away from that. And I'm a
Nintendo
little
was.
like annoyed. Well, Nintendo didn't. Yeah, but nobody saw Nintendo as like a PlayStation Xbox thing. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't play Nintendo games. I get fucking bored. My wife loves it. I don't. But I just, to me, it was like I miss those days. I just miss competition, man. I feel like nobody's really going for each other's throat. And for the first time, funny enough, it's not PlayStation or Xbox that's like ramping it up. It's Steam. It's Steam coming to the living room and PlayStation going, the fuck? And I think that is going to stir up a lot of competition. And then, like what Hargeet was saying, or sorry, what Jake was saying about them moving away from Windows, like they want Linux to start being some of the thing, like, oh, people can play games on Linux and Steam OS. Yeah, with Windows fucking up right now, there is a little bit of an opportunity for them to not go crazy, but make a little bit of a hit, like a little dent, divot. So I just want competition.
Yeah.
I
same.
took Windows off my laptop.
Yeah.
Yep,
Cassie,
I put Fedora Linux on it 6 months ago, and I'm never going back to Windows on my laptop.
I just want to give a shout out to Cassie.
Sexual.
She says the rumored specs sounds too nonsensical to be real. I don't think it's nonsensical, but I'm with you though. I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical on the specs just because we've had Moore's Law is dead say some wrong things in the past. I mean, remember the whole RDNA thing, 3 thing?
So with him,
PlayStation 5
I've been listening to, like, I'm actually on his Patreon. Like I've been listening to his podcast every single week for years. So
Okay.
I'm pretty in tune with like what he says and then what comes true. And what I found to be the case with him is that he tends to be bang on as far as like the actual, like he was actually sent a legal cease and desist by Sony, and he was the one who leaked the PSSR name. He got the PS5 Pro specs perfectly. So like he tends to get his leaks 100% correct, but then he'll interpret them in weird ways. Like to this day, he still says the PS5 Pro doubles PS5 performance and ray traces like a 4070 Ti, even though like, even with his leak specs, we knew that wasn't going to be the case. So like when you listen to Moore's Law is Dead specs, it's like always take what he says with a grain of salt, obviously, but like generally you can trust what he says, but be careful about how he explains and interprets them. Like let other people do that, basically.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about Hargeet Digital Foundry? There was a video that was clipped and put out there, and basically they were saying something to the effect that there's a bigger gap between the Series X and the PS5 than there is with the leaked specs and rumors of the PS6 and the Helix.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that they're that dissimilar. I tend to agree. I mean, okay, it might be like instead of 20%, it's 25% or something like that, right? They're close. They're very close, and which is why I always look at the like, it's going to be substantially more expensive. I'm like, oh, why though? They're like,
Yeah,
yes,
that is
it's gonna
something
cost a
that you
bit more.
constantly say. And you know what D-Batch says about that? He says it's the RAM and also the pricing of the GPU power. He thinks that it's
the amount of
substantially
bigger.
different between
the
5070
bigger.
Ti and a 5080.
It's the
It's a
amount of
big
silicon.
jump.
It all comes down to the amount of silicon.
The silicon is going to cost them probably 100-ish more in that range, 80, $100, something like that more. Again, it all comes down to how they can make this thing, right? And if they're really making it a platform and they say, we can take the ones that fail and make those a portable. Okay, well, now you're not getting as much of a hit, right? So it can actually become cheaper. But that just depends on how they're doing this. I don't know what the answer to that is. For PlayStation, they also have, is it Canis, right? Canis, whatever. They have like the portable potential, and then the main one is Orion, something like that, right? So maybe they have the same thing where they can say we can take the same thing, and if it's got some failure modes, we can just say take that and make it Canis. I don't know, but they seem substantially different. But anyway, I don't know if that's the case with Magnus. If it is, that could cut down the cost of that, right? But I would still expect around 100-ish for the chip. I don't know if I totally accept that Xbox is going to put that much more memory in. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't, right? So they usually are like spot on the same, right? So what would the advantage be? The advantage would be maybe you'd have more overhead to do other Windowsy things, I guess. But I'm just not sure if that's really the path they're going to take. They're only talking like 32 gigs, 24 gigs. That's a lot of memory. So I don't know for console, right? And now they're saying 48 gigs or something ridiculous,
Yeah, it's
36
crazy.
gigs. I'm like, oh, come on. Like, hold on. What do you... So maybe they do go that far. So, but we'll see, right? It also could be that they're looking at the dev kit. The dev kit usually has double the memory, right? And the actual box will have less.
Oh, true.
I think if it
I
has
don't know.
24 gigs, it'll like PC gamers won't be interested because you need more than that for Windows, like in general. Like you can get by with 16 gigs of RAM on Windows nowadays, but it's gonna suck. Like you open a few web browser tabs and it's already like buckled down. And obviously, like when you have unified RAM, like maybe Microsoft's gonna have drivers that make it so you don't have to duplicate as much stuff between the RAM and the VRAM, so you don't need as much total RAM. But still, like that doesn't come into a factor when you want to open 4 Chrome or Brave tabs or whatever, and suddenly you've maxed out your 24 gigs of RAM just in general.
Yeah.
So,
and
they got to be careful there. And a lesson that Microsoft got to learn from the Series X. We went over this a little bit earlier in the show that the Series X has just a bizarre design for RDNA 2, where it only runs at a 1.8 gigahertz, even though RDNA 2 was like designed for 2+, like 2 to 2.5. And so Microsoft had this
underclocked.
Microsoft had this ginormous expensive die in the Series X that only got like basically performing very similarly to the PS5, which uses a way smaller die that clocks higher. Sony was able to, their BOM cost is probably much lower, on top of like the Series X having a way more expensive cooling system. But really, it comes down to that just almost double the size in die, but a way lower clock speed. They got to learn from that lesson for sure, and not do that again.
By the way, guys, Cullen Prime in the chat says, please quit comparing AMD APU to NVIDIA GPUs.
I've been saying that for years. I've been saying that for ages. That's one of the reasons why I was mad about the PS5 Pro 4070 comparison. I'm just like,
I think the reason why they do that is just they're talking about, it's similar performance, that sort of thing.
Well, it's because NVIDIA is the default on PC and has like 95% of the market, so people are going to make the comparison to the market leader.
It's almost 100%, I think.
They're the market leader, so that's where people are going to make the comparison. But really, like what you should be doing is comparing to the AMD PC parts. And really, like for the PS5 Pro, as an example, like there's not really a PC part. Like the 9060 XT is like somewhat of a proxy, but like generally that's still stronger across the board and it has way like better AI acceleration built in. So there's not a 1-to-1 comparison right now.
Yeah, the other day, somebody on Twitter, I had to just ignore him because he told me that the PS5 Pro was almost as good as a 4090, and I was just like, okay, I'm out.
Obviously.
Definitely a rage baiter.
Yeah.
No, obviously it is.
Because he was trying to explain that the next PS6 was going to be better than a 4090, and I was like, I don't think it's going to be a 4090 at all. And I said, it's got 24 gigs of VRAM alone. And I said, in raw power, it's not going to touch the 4090. And he's like, what do you mean? The PS5 Pro is close. And I was just like,
buddy,
I'm out of this conversation.
It's an
I'm
RX
gone.
6800. That's a, like...
I left the conversation after that. I was done. I was like, okay, talk to yourself. But yeah, guys, there's a lot. Look, I don't know tech like you guys do, but I know enough to know bullshit when I smell it. And
also, like every single time a console is like, once the rumor mill starts swirling up and we know that hardware is coming, there's always people that are massively overestimating what the new console or PC or whatever you want to call it is going to perform like. Hence, I mean, the PS5 Pro 4070 comparison was just the most recent example. But like, remember when the Xbox One X was announced and everyone was comparing it with the GTX 1080, and then it releases and doesn't even perform like a 1060? Like, remember that? Like, it happens every time. And people need to like really wait for the official spec announcement from Microsoft and then let the PC gamers come in and properly explain the specs. Don't listen to the console fanboys on Twitter.
Yeah. I mean, they're obviously.
I love that one. You know what? I don't care. I loved my Xbox One X. That was probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite console.
I did too. I liked it.
I enjoyed it. I remember playing Assassin's Creed Origins because I was a broke bitch. My PC was shit. I was like, this is sexy. I'm good.
It was the first time we've seen that type of jump in graphics, especially from the Xbox One to the Xbox One X, and it just destroyed everything else in terms of fidelity. And I remember, for me, it was Red Dead 2 that took the cake. Like when Red Dead 2 came out.
Red Dead 2 looked amazing, but you had to mute it. You had to mute the game though.
Shut up.
For me, the first example I saw was like, because I bought
Metro
Final
Exodus
Fantasy.
was the first one I dropped my jaw. Metro Exodus.
For me,
That
the
was the
first
first one.
major difference, and I know you might remember this tweet because you liked it back in the day, FOnz, but so I bought Final Fantasy 15. Unfortunately, I bought that game,
Oh
but
no.
I bought it on PS4 Pro at launch, and like the image quality sucked. Like even on that system, which was already like better than base PS4, like it was just terrible. And then I get the Xbox One version because they got a One X update, and it was on sale for like $15, and like. Wow, what a big difference that was. Like, that was
Yeah.
the first one that really was like an obvious difference for me
And
versus
the
PS4
One
Pro,
X,
which I also had.
the One X, because I had a PS4 Pro too, but the One X spoiled all of us in terms of fidelity. Because when we went to the next generation, which, you know, this last generation with the Series, no, it's this generation, Series X,
Yeah.
I wasn't wowed by any of the graphics. Like, yeah, I had that bigger performance jump. I had more 60 frames games, but when it came to the graphics, I was just like, kind of looks like last gen. Like, what's
Oftentimes
the
with worse
difference?
image quality because they're pushing ray tracing on RDNA 2 at 60 FPS.
True. And then what do you get? Ray trace shadows and like just the piss poor ray tracing
exactly.
that
It's
doesn't
not even all
matter
ray
anyway.
tracing.
Yeah, it's not like what we're getting with like Requiem or Cyberpunk, you know, on PC.
Yeah.
It's just amazing looking on PC. But yeah, that's how it was. It really spoiled us, the One X at that time. But yeah, I like the performance I get today. You know, the higher frame rates anyway. But I think that's where we're at, though. We're not really jumping up in terms of graphics anymore.
Meanwhile,
that's actually gonna be
we're talking about path traced Resident Evil Requiem on
Yeah,
PC.
you're getting path tracing and stuff like that. But what I mean is like the overall, take the path tracing away. It's kind of, it looks like, you know, this gen. You know what I'm saying?
It's already
Or
4K,
last gen
right?
even.
And you can render at 4K. But like, you know, and then you're talking about next gen consoles coming and like, okay, so what's the draw to bring you over from a Xbox Series X or a PS5 to the next gen?
I think it probably is the path tracing.
And it's like, well, so how many people are going to care about that?
We were just talking
let's
earlier
say
about
the
like,
PS6 is. Yeah, go ahead.
Look at what's happening with the Pro, Hargeet. It's selling out because of, you know, Requiem.
I don't think it's going to be like a humongous difference by the end of the year when they release their like, you know, financial figures. I actually don't think it's going to be that big of a jump.
I don't think it's going to be that big, and I don't think it's because of Requiem. I literally think it's because people are debating it and they're like, "This might go up because of this RAM shit. I'm just going to buy it." I think that's what it is. I don't think it's because of Requiem.
You don't think it's suspicious though? It came out the same time as it started selling more when Requiem dropped, and
because there was just a lot of
not on PS4, right?
There was just a lot of news hype about like Requiem, and that just was part of the news hype cycle. But I think base PS5 is still like percentage-wise, it's still blowing PS5 Pro out of the water.
Oh,
in terms of unit sales. And I don't think that gap has changed much with Requiem. I bet you just PS5 in general probably sold more because of Requiem and some of these more recent games.
Mr. Little Evil, I used to kind of think the same thing. They said ray tracing is overrated. It depends. Like path tracing in Cyberpunk and with Requiem, night and day difference for me. It looks so much better.
How about we say it this way? Poorly done ray tracing is overrated. How about if you do a optimized
console ray tracing is useless.
Yeah, yes, console ray tracing sucks. Yes, there you go, Hargeet. You said it best.
I mean, in my opinion, how can you look at like for example, Assassin's Creed Shadows again? You can turn ray trace GI on and off on all platforms except Series S and Switch 2, I think. How can you look at the ray tracing GI, like the lighting on that, versus like the regular probe-based one, and how can you not see a humongous difference there? And yes, people make the argument like, oh, you know, Syndicate and Unity looked that good, and that was on PS4, but that was like a tiny little world, and Shadows is this ginormous map with all 4 seasons and like a base you can build up custom. Like the amount of storage space and RAM usage that, you know, baked GI would need to cover all of that would be just, the game's already like 150 gigs or something. So like I'm just don't know how you can look at something like that and not see an obvious huge difference. And that's not even path tracing, which is something the next console and new Xbox, like they already were talking about that today. Like it's obviously going to be a target.
Wait,
Yeah, I don't know
Lamarcus
though.
Doss,
Like I think. Go ahead.
are you saying the conversation we had earlier about the Pro being almost as good as a 4090? He says it doesn't matter, FOnz. The Pro upscale AI will make it look the same. No,
That is something someone who's never been within 100 feet of a functioning gaming PC would say.
that
Yes.
is what the youngins call cap, sir.
Jake is
Like-
Jake is an asshole. I like it. It's nice.
No, but it's like, thank you, but it's, you know,
He said thank
He
you.
said
I-
thank you. Tipped his hat.
but I promise you, like, you know, people point out the Digital Foundry, you have to zoom in 400% to show a difference. Like, first off, the reason they do that is because YouTube compression and social media posts, like, simply you cannot, like, you would notice these differences, and I know because I have this PC and this PS5 Pro. Like, you notice the differences very obviously when it's being done in person on your native hardware. And a lot of that stuff is not anywhere near as visible, especially image quality on YouTube. So
Oh,
they
let
have
me
to,
tell you something.
they have to zoom in to show that stuff. And so
I'll
when
tell-
you're looking at YouTube comparisons, like when you just said like the image quality upscaling is going to make it look the same. When you're looking at YouTube comparisons, I promise you, like it does not do it justice. Go look at a gaming PC playing these games in person. Like
Yeah.
everyone I've introduced to PC notices immediately.
Okay, so where it was very apparent to me is when I played Ghost of Tsushima on PC. And then I went to the PS5 Pro and I did an A/B comparison and I was like, wow, it looks blurry as shit on the Pro.
But FOnz, here's the problem. Whoever that was in the chat, that's the average player, and they don't give a shit. And I'm just
Yeah,
telling you, this
true,
is the
true.
problem you run into.
And I'm not arguing with the
So-
guy. I'm just trying to tell him that
Oh, yeah,
he's wrong.
But it's just, and they're gonna say it's good enough. And if I have to spend $700 and I get that versus $1,500,
Yeah,
$2,000,
true.
$2,500.
Oh no,
they're
yeah,
gonna be happy with the $700, right?
that's
Price
100% correct.
performance,
We're just
yeah.
that's 100% correct. We're just talking like I'm just trying to stop the misinformation that like these are high end
And that's
gaming
totally
PC
fair. And we
equivalents.
should do that. That's fair,
yeah.
right?
So I'll
But
give
here's
another
my-
good. I'll give a great
ahead.
example, and that's Horizon Forbidden West and Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered on PS5 Pro, which uses, I think they named it, like I forgot what that upscaling is called now. It's going to be in Death Stranding 2 on PC, but like that is considered to have probably the best image until probably Resident Evil Requiem with PSSR 2. That was considered to have the best image quality on PS5 Pro. I did an A/B comparison between PS5 Pro and the 9070 XT doing FSR4 performance mode upscaling, so 1080p to 4K. PS5 Pro renders at like 15 to 1600p to 4K in that game using that like Guerrilla Games upscaler, Pico I think is what it's called. And if you're just looking at the PS5 Pro, it looks really good. And then you swap over to PC and like all of a sudden all that blurriness and smeariness in motion, like especially when fast camera movements, goes away. And that tree in the distance doesn't look like a blob of pixels. Like you notice these things, but like only really when you're playing it in person. But the console version's good enough, looks good. But like, don't be careful about the comparisons
Well,
you make.
you know what? Lamarcus
Fonz,
got
I need
us.
to
He
jump
won.
off here, brother.
All right. Thanks, Soccer. I
Yeah,
appreciate
no problem.
you.
Peace, man.
Your wife needs me to help her. Hey, Jake, pleasure meeting you. Hargy, you're my fucking boy, dude, always.
Find him at Zocker Gaming here on YouTube.
Later, chat.
Peace.
Yeah, so Lamarcus Doss killed us. We're done. PSSR 2. It's because of PSSR 2. That's why it's going to be just as good. We don't know anything.
Not
so
DLSS,
he
which
won.
has been doing this longer. But anyway, whatever. We'll put that aside.
He won. He won.
This is why I think upgrading from that to PS6 is going to be problematic. Because most people are like, oh my God, this looks totally fine. And if you ask somebody, say the PS6 costs $750, $800, and you have a PS5 that's functioning, will play all your games, and you have no impetus whatsoever to move unless you say, oh, I want the fancy graphics. How many people care about the fancy graphics?
Not the average person. Like the Fortnite players and the NHL players,
Yeah,
like they don't give two fucks. A lot of them
That's
are still on.
true.
A lot of them are still on
those games?
PS4s. Like they were.
Yep.
Those people are on PS4s for the longest time because the games were still there, and
That's
that's
true.
90% of the market is those players. And
it's
then
going to be a tough sell.
yeah. So no, you're 100% right, and the chatter, like you're totally right that like, but also even the PS5 Pro is a tough upsell because I mentioned earlier it's like double the price of the base PS5, especially when the base PS5 goes on sale during holidays, and it's oftentimes double the price for the visual differences that the average Joe is just not going to notice at TV distances.
And has there ever been a game that they've done where the frame rate is only available on the Pro? I think they've all had the higher frame rate available on the base as well, right?
Yeah, like you'll see like the Pro able to do higher graphical features at the higher frame rate modes, and there's some games that like are very GPU limited that will suddenly lock to 120. It's very rare, but like will lock to 120 on PS5 Pro. But generally, you can get 60 FPS games on both, or 120 on both, and
so it's a hard sell even to do that. PS5 to PS5 Pro is a hard sell. Look, there are plenty of enthusiasts who will buy it. I'm not saying that won't happen, right? But that's the thing. And I'm looking at, okay, you're going to go PS6. What's your selling feature? Oh, it's going to do path tracing. Okay. Again, I just don't know how many people, again, enthusiasts will buy it. Beyond that, I don't know. It's the same with this box. The things that you get with this is at least you get, hey, it's going to bring in PC games. Okay, that is a selling feature. That may be something of value. Fair enough, right? But if I just said it's more oomph than your Series X, the Series X plays all the games you want. It plays them at the rates you want, at the performance you want. If that's good enough for you, stay.
They could try putting something in the.
It's tough to sell.
They could put some stuff in the marketing for the Helix that like, hey, this is a Windows PC and can go into desktop mode and run all your Windows software. Like you can get this, you can get this for your college student, and you can do Microsoft Office 365 on this.
Well, again, that's all an assumption. I don't.
It's an assumption, but
we will find.
But it's a possibility.
Yeah, it is a possibility.
They wouldn't put
that it is
going to happen, desktop mode on that. Like they wouldn't put desktop mode and Windows functionality if they're not going to at least like market it a little bit.
Yeah, but I think I don't know that they're going to give you desktop mode. So we will see.
They will. They will.
I think they'll leave that to OEMs. I don't know that they'll do that. I think they're going to make this a console, but we'll see. We'll see. Again, they could say, "Yep, it is." Like you can switch over to desktop mode. I don't know. I think they shouldn't do that.
If they do a desktop mode, it's definitely not going to be front. It's not going to be front and center. It's going to be like Steam Deck. Like to get the desktop mode on Steam Deck, you have to open the side menu, go to the power options, and then select like go to desktop mode. Like it's not even front and center on there, and that's an enthusiast device.
But either way, so yeah, I don't know. We have a lot of information yet to come out, so we will find out.
And I'll be back for that.
Yep, yes, for sure. With that said, I'm going to end the show because
I'm getting exhausted. It's
getting very late. Yeah, it's very late. But anyways, I appreciate you, Hargeet, for coming in, giving us your 2 cents on the situation. Not much has been revealed, but we will see more soon. And when we do, we will definitely have Jake back because it's always a pleasure. Jake, let everybody know where they can find you. And all that good stuff, man.
Yeah, so Twitter, I'm not calling it X. Twitter and YouTube, FSAPO Jake. I occasionally post, as I said in the beginning of the show, I've kind of moved on to the niche of Digital Foundry at home. Love doing like image quality comparisons for games they're too busy to do. And on Twitter, I don't know, mix of all sorts of stuff. It's my bad personality mostly on Twitter, but it's still check me out on there. It's where I'm mostly at when I'm online.
Nice. Thank you for being here, man. I really appreciate it because anytime there's tech stuff, like I said, I like to have the tech guys in here with me and Hargeet because you guys know what you're talking about. I sit back and listen most of the time when it comes to this stuff because that's how you learn. Hargeet, thank you for coming in. I'm glad I got to have you here late tonight. Let everybody know where they can find you. And you were just on Boom, so you got one more show this week? Two.
Yeah.
Two more.
Well, no, because so C Money is out in GDC. He's out there actually.
That's
firsthand,
right.
having fun with that. So I will be on with Web Dave on Sunday, 7 p.m. US Eastern. Check that out, and we'll be back hopefully Tuesday.
Yep.
Next week.
Tuesday.
So yeah.
All right. With that said, I want to thank everybody for coming out, watching the show live, listening after the fact on Spotify or any other streaming platform. Yeah, shout out to LaMarcus Doss, man. No hate, bro. I'm glad you're here. I just, I'm confused. Like, you have a 5090 PC and you don't see much of a difference between the Pro. I don't know. Maybe you might have to get your eyes checked. I don't know.
I see the difference with my 9070 XT, and that is nowhere close to the 5090.
Dude. Anyways, but yeah, dude, I would feel bad if I spent $5,000 on a PC and my Pro is going to be just as good with PSSR 2 or 3, man, I would feel gypped. Anyways, with that said,